Hello, everybody, and welcome to another clusterfuck of an episode of the Pro Crastinators podcast. I am your host today, Tom Oliver, and we got a host of degenerates with us to talk about whatever the fuck comes up from our brain matters. We got Digi Bro.
I'm alive for you. I'm awake because of you.
I'm flattered. We got Mage.
A Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, a Pizza Hut, a Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, a Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Pizza Hut, McDonald's.
We were on Endless War for a bit there, and then it deviated drastically.
I did this all
to get us back on track, we have Munchie with tiny hats.
Whoa! Heaven, let your light shine down.
Yeah. We have Nate.
I'm at the Pizza Hut. I'm at the Taco Bell. I'm at the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. That's
Pizza
me.
Bell.
My favorite.
I used
Get
to
me a
have one of
pizza.
those. It was glorious.
And of course, the one, the only, the Yang Gang himself, Ben Say.
We've got the American Jesus, see him on the interstate. We've got the American Jesus, overwhelming millions every day. You guys like Bad Religion?
Ben,
You
how
guys
does
like
it
that?
feel?
Yeah, they're all right.
How does it feel to be on the
Melodic
cutting edge?
hardcore?
How does it feel to be on the cutting edge of political thought, Ben? How does it feel to be on the fucking forefront?
It's exhilarating, Munchie. Exhilarating. Titillating.
Listen, you just blind yourself for the aesthetic, thematic parallels, walk up to a nearby cliff edge and just spout your fucking drivel for all the pros to waddle up and hear every single day. And soon enough, you're going to be more powerful than the president.
Here's the thing about Bad Religion, I realize, is it's basically Linkin Park in the sense that it is like purely, it is pure, it trades on pure emotionality over any like real, only the villain that is being railed against is just like, society, bad politicians,
Yeah.
evil, general evils of society, capitalism and all that, rich people, instead of
Ben,
with Linkin Park, it's just teen angst, just general angst.
So once you hit
is
your
the-
20s, you just switch over.
I like that better.
Ben, you're
the teen
so
angst?
fucking killer
Yeah.
core, dude. You just love being a teen. You love hating your parents. You love rebelling against the system. You're the most killer core person on earth.
Why would you ever stop? Why would you ever want to grow out of it?
Every single, you know what? Every single thought you have, I think that's an interesting thought. Then I weave it back into the overall Ben Saint narrative, and I think, oh, this is actually extremely in character. There's no
Munchie, it sounds like
deviation.
every step that Ben takes is another mistake to you.
Well,
Hey, Ben, when we were young, we listened to Bad Religion, Alien Ant Farm. Obviously, you led because you were the older one.
My friend, you remember my friend
There
Stefan?
are people who listen
course.
to Alien Ant Farm?
Absolutely.
Beyond the
Well,
single?
let me tell you about
pretty
it.
much
heard
just that
one
one
song.
single.
Annie, are you okay, right?
Yeah.
You okay? You
The,
okay?
Now,
the
Ben,
song
Ben,
that was
do you
better
remember?
when
It was-
Michael Jackson did it.
Whatever. It's a good. It's
I
a
think
good
they're
cover.
both good in different ways. But Ben,
My-
remember when we were young?
My
and-
friend Stefan
Yeah.
made me. He burned me a CD of a
Nice.
bunch of Bad Religion music and like a couple other things, including that Alien Ant Farm cover. Yep.
Hell
and
yeah.
Just to introduce me to his favorite band, and I listened to it over and over and over again.
Ben, I remember there was a time that played on the air, and I remember you said, "That's
No.
my favorite band. That's my favorite band right there."
What, Alien
And I
Ant
remember that-
Farm?
Yeah,
No,
there was a brief
come
period.
on. I never.
Yeah, dude.
Alien Ant Farm was
absolutely.
never my favorite band.
And I remember. Well, okay, this is why I think that, because I remember a brief episode where I said, "Hey Ben, I've got a surprise for you. I've got a secret to tell you, Ben."
No,
and it's
no.
that. Guess what my favorite band also is for unrelated reasons? It's Alien Ant Farm, dude!
That
and
sounds-
the rage, Ben, the rage at the fact that I would dare insist that your favorite band was also my favorite band was enough to shatter galaxies, Ben. It exploded.
I don't.
The blows rained down on me from all
I
angles.
believe both of you. I believe that wasn't Ben's favorite band and that he was that mad anyway.
I think that you should be that mad at anyone whose favorite band is Alien Ant Farm.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. That's
Okay,
fair.
all right. Yeah, good times.
But then I grew up and The Cure became my favorite band.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Really?
That was Yeah,
What
because
an
I listened
amazing
to
musical history you guys have.
Mine was disturbed for a very long while.
Oh, that's
Just really.
I was
that
pretty
makes
into
total
Disturbed for
sense
a
to me.
bit.
Weirdly, just like because all their songs they have the same kind of underlying aesthetic as the kind of stuff you like. That like I'm going to explode and murder everyone around me.
Yeah.
kind of vibe.
No, mommy, don't do it again. Don't do it again. I'll be a good boy. I'll be a good boy.
You know, early musical taste is very
Incredible.
interesting.
So
'Cause,
that's
I mean,
fucking deep.
it seems totally natural that just when you're young, whatever music is around will, like, the first shit you hear will just be your favorite. I remember the first time I realized music was good was listening to The Cure on someone's CD at Boy Scout camp, and I was, like, entranced. I was like, whoa, is that music? I don't fucking get it, but now I do get it. This is, like, good.
Do you want
And
to
it
know
was
why?
good.
This is the reason why is because this was before LimeWire, like back when you first got into
True,
it. So you didn't
true.
have, you weren't spoiled for choice yet. You couldn't just go on LimeWire and find 10 billion songs and be like, the world is at my fingertips.
I mean, even today, whatever a kid, like, the first song he listens to and likes, he'll be like, well, that's my favorite song. Therefore, whatever's popular will just be somebody's favorite.
I just
and they're
remembered, I
nostalgic.
think the
Hang
reason
me on the
why...
crown.
The reason why Stefan burned me that CD was because I brought it up to him because I had heard some Bad Religion song. There was like one Bad Religion song on the soundtrack to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. And I was like,
Nice.
I like
Yes.
that song. And I talked to him and he was like, oh yeah, I know that band. I'll burn you some tunes from...
Oh, that's nice.
and I
Isn't
was
that
like,
nice?
cool.
What
yeah.
a champ.
Yeah.
Friends
yeah.
are cool.
Shout
Friends
out
are
to
good.
Stefan. What a good guy.
Shout out to Stefan.
Stefan Molyneux?
Rest
no,
in peace.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I think
I
it sounds
think
pretty similar.
he's-
Every day, I'm robbed of having this fucking teen musical experience because I'm convinced that, like, if you're above 30, you don't know what, like, headphones are. Because
You're right.
every single day, I have the same ritual. I go downstairs. I'm trying to mind my own business. I'm just trying to get in and out of the kitchen as fast as possible before the mobs start to spawn. But, you know, it's like when you run into, like, a mob spawn, you just try and raid the chest for all the cookies and all the watermelon seeds, and then dash up before the skeletons start to spawn in rows of 3. I try and do that, but with scrambled eggs instead of cookies. So I sprint downstairs, usually trying to do this, like, I debate doing the Super Mario 64 long jump down the stairs and breaking all my bones. Every single day, I get it closer and closer to doing it, and I'm going to die that way, I guarantee you. Anyway, I'm downstairs, and then I have my headphones in, you know, listening to music, you know, thrashing about a little bit, and then every single day, every single moment when I have my headphones in, people just try and talk to me. And it's like, guys, listen, I understand I'm your son, you want to speak to me. Say to me, hey, let's speak now, and then I'll take off my headphones. Just stop I'm always like this. Learn my routine. Learn how I am. Please, I beg you. I just want to be undisturbed. And then when I take them off, I'm not even spoken to. Mom, I hate my parents, and I'm gonna listen to Bad Romance 2, load up that CD bin.
Bad
They don't
Religion.
understand.
Would you
I
like to
got
see how it
Bad
feels,
romance.
Mommy? Here it comes. Get ready to die.
Have you guys heard of the band Tattoo? TATU.
TATU.
Yes,
Yeah.
my,
Yeah,
my
I've heard
sister
of it.
Is
loved
that
that
two
band.
girls,
Yeah.
like two sisters?
I don't
Yeah.
remember
Yeah,
their
yeah.
like
No, it's two hot Russians who make out and shit.
Okay.
Maybe they're also sisters?
That was the whole
Okay.
point, was that they make out.
yeah, they were kind of.
I think I'm confusing them with
Alright.
another like sister duo. Okay.
I don't think they were sisters, but yeah, they had the whole lesbian thing going. Like, I really liked their music before they started singing in English, and there was this one song, I don't even remember what it was called, but I like, my sister had a CD, and I just played like the first song on loop for hours, and then I remember her coming into my room all angry, just like, can't you stop listening to that same song? It's depressing as shit. And me not understanding Russian was like, oh, okay.
Me, an intellectual. Yeah.
Another band.
Me, an intellectual committing suicide.
Another band that really shaped my life. Like, I've only been to one concert. It was of this band, the band Lordi. I actually listened to their songs yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, the good old times." And I had
Lord?
Lordi.
No,
LOR.
Lordi.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
like-
sending in the chat the image of them.
Lordi is. Are you familiar
Okay.
with Gwar? They're
Yeah.
They're the
Yeah, they're the
Christian
ones that
rock
wear, like, the
version of
rubber-
Gwar.
I had the biggest crush on the lead singer. Not gonna lie.
Gwar
Look
is
at
the
him,
ones
though.
that wear like the rubber like monster costumes,
Yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Lordi it also does that, except that they're the Christian version.
That
like the good boy version.
that
of
sounds
Guar.
incredibly killer core to
Look
me.
at the second
It
chat,
does.
the gross disgusting chat.
This is crazy.
I had a huge crush. Not gonna lie.
Whoa! This is
Okay,
the sickest shit.
Dude,
Fascinating.
this is just steam powered giraffe.
Wait. Yeah, kind of.
By the way,
which one
Ben,
did you like? Which one did you like,
the
Mage?
lead singer.
The one
main
in the
guy.
middle?
In the middle.
Okay. Like
Dude,
in
Bara.
the makeup?
Oh
in
my
the makeup
Yeah,
or out
in
of
the
the
makeup.
makeup?
I don't know how he looks out of the makeup.
Yeah.
Oh my
Fascinating.
god, the face on the knee! Oh my god, the
Whoa.
severed face on his kneecap. That's fucking sick.
Look at his
That's
belt buckle.
weird
It's
as
another
fuck.
face.
With a severed face.
You know,
on
Mage
his
makes a lot more
knee.
sense now. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this explains a lot.
Ooh, look at the artistry on that though.
Yeah.
Look at all the little
Dude,
nooks
this
and
is super
crannies.
sick. This is super sick.
It's pretty sick.
I'm
Ah.
all about it.
Yo,
The
this
first-
guy
the
should be
first
in Lethal
band's-
Halloween 2, Mage. Don't forget to
Ooh.
include him.
I'm still waiting for it to come out. The first bands that I got into, my friend was burning me CDs with like Dimmu Borgir and Children of Bodom and shit, 'cause he was super into metal, and that's how I got into it. It
I
great.
was part of the goth clique in my
Mhm,
high school, but
mhm.
I was just kind of a hanger on. Like I had like one pair of fucking Hot Topic trap pants. You know, I had black t-shirts. I had
believe they're
long
trip
hair.
pants, Ben.
Trip pants?
Trip pants? Not trap pants?
TRIPP. Trip.
Okay, yeah, trip. You know, yeah, with like the bondage rings and all
Yes,
the
the
zippers
super
and
big
shit.
ones. I had one pair of acid blue trip
What?
pants. That
Oh,
was my
Acid blue.
God.
You gotta go classic black.
Nah, man. I had the blue and black checkered pattern, you know, and like
That's
what
not
was
goth.
what was great about them was that, well, no, they were more like punk.
It's like neo-goth or something.
more
I
like
don't know.
punk.
Whatever.
punk
They
ska
came from Hot
something.
Topic. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
What was great about them is I wore them to every convention because they had just these fucking insanely massive pockets. And it was like
Yeah,
you could
alright,
fit-
alright.
it was like having two mobile purses on your
You could
legs.
just steal everything and no one would know.
Yeah, well, like one time, because my friend Josh used to exclusively wore a pair of black trip pants, and
Mhm.
we went to
Good
see
man.
a movie one time, and he had put like a whole 2 liter of Mountain Dew in each pocket. It was fucking
Awesome.
incredible.
That's
Awesome.
that's fucking
like a whole
teen
box
goth
of KFC in one pocket, and
Dude,
like 2
imagine,
liters in
like-
the other.
Imagine the martial potential there, but you do like a spinning roundhouse kick and explode an entire Mountain Dew container on someone's fucking face.
Mm.
It was
Oh.
great.
Extra
acid
you
damage,
always have
yes.
to carry all this bullshit, like all the extra schedules and maps and shit, and so I would just have pockets
Yeah.
full
I
of
just
con shit.
I just want to paint a picture of my clique. So I was in this goth
Sure.
clique, but I was more of a hanger on. I didn't go to like concerts or anything. There were two guys who were sort of the de facto like top dogs. And everyone else and like those guys like found bands. Those guys went to concerts. Those guys were hard. They had like a ton of the fucking like
Ben,
trip
I'm
pants and
impressed
stuff.
that your fucking goth clique actually like did things. Because at my
Not-
school, the goth clique
not
was just
all
a
of
bunch of
them.
stoners who did nothing.
Not all of them, but a few of them did. And
There were
like
a few
so
thought
so
leaders, a few
their
power
musical
warriors.
musical tastes kind of trickled down.
Right,
And
right.
Stefan was in it too, my other friend and he had the pants. He didn't go to like concerts, but he found music. Anyway, their musical discoveries all trickled down, and so I was given like Children of Bodom and Cradle of Filth and stuff. I was like,
Word.
yeah, well, I guess this is
a
what I like
fucking
now.
dark time for music that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw
Thinking with, like,
Cradle of
Cobain
Filth
or
live,
something
and
would've been better.
it was the worst show ever
My-
because they
one
are the
time-
worst band ever.
One time,
Yeah?
my friends were over in my basement playing Dungeons and Dragons, or procrastinating and not playing Dungeons and Dragons, just fucking around
Shameful.
instead of playing. And someone put on a Cradle of Filth album, and our dad came down, and with disdain
Oh,
in
boy.
his voice, he asked. It was really funny. He asked like. Oh, how did he say it? It was like, so what are you listening to? Songs about devil worship? And I was like, I like sputtered with rage. Like, don't fucking, what the, no.
Satan's
of course-
misunderstood, Dad. You will never get it.
Basically. And he
Yeah.
never, and he
Surely
never
Cradle
did.
of Filth does have some songs about devil worship.
They absolutely do. At 100%. So,
Okay.
there was
So he
no
wasn't
defense.
wrong, but he was
There
just uncool about it.
It's
way
really funny
uncool.
because at
Yeah.
that point in history, my mom was way into black metal, specifically because it's about devil worship.
Our dad likes smooth jazz.
And James Taylor.
James Taylor, who I have come to appreciate some of the stuff that our dad liked.
Carolina on My Mind, absolute banger.
Yeah,
absolute banger of a song.
I've come to love James Taylor. I've come to love Genesis. And so that was all good. However, he did have a habit of putting on like very, very dull, like basically unlistenable, like smooth jazz, like medleys.
Well, that was just the anime
stand.
study music of his generation.
Instead of
chill beats to study to. Yeah,
it's true.
Hilarious.
But I don't like it.
Me neither. Hey, by the way, speaking of bad shows, I know this is I think this is a bit of a cliche, but it's just that my buddy John once went to a Dragon Force concert and said it was like the dullest piece of shit show he had ever been to. Because they're so slow live.
No, they're not slow. Not the show, because I've seen them twice. And the first time it was early in the day because they were like the first band at Ozfest, and it was actually great. They played all their songs accurately. They had a couple trampolines they were bouncing off of and shit. It was cool as fuck. So then they headlined a show, and me and my brother Victor, because Victor was the biggest fucking Dragon Force fan in the world at the time. Like, it was his favorite band. It's all he listened to. We saw them live, and they were all clearly fucked up, like in different ways. Like the singer was drunk, the guitarist was seemed to be on coke or something, and then like one guy's like on speed. Like they're all on different drugs, and they sound like they're all on different drugs. Like everybody's playing their parts wrong, and like
so they sounded like shit too.
The drummer just seemed like he was playing a blast beat nonstop with no thought. Like he was just like, oh, this is what the drums are. The guitarists were like playing the wrong parts at time, and I swear to God, there was one part where one of the guitarists, Sam Topman, was like playing the wrong solo, and I think somebody was like trying to tell him, and I saw him mouth to the guy, "They all sound the same anyways." Which is the biggest criticism people have of
the guitarist said that?
Yes, and like the singer kept like throwing water onto the crowd and shit, and he just seemed like he was pissed off for some reason.
I'm trying to douse them out, dude. They're getting too hot, getting fizzling.
Dude, it was a miserable show. I literally deleted all their music off my computer after that show. I was so fucking offended. I didn't listen to them again.
How old were you?
Like 18.
Yeah. Okay.
The illusion was shattered.
That's rough.
I mean,
I guess touring will take a toll on you after a while.
I've heard a lot of stories about the fact that they suck live, and I think it's just because they do a lot of drugs. Like
definitely possible.
Because they like when I saw them earlier in the day, they were fine because they hadn't started drinking yet. And like at that Ozfest, I met the two guitarists because they were just kind of wandering around talking to random people, and they were. Both of them are completely incomprehensible because I don't know if you know, but Dragon Force is a super group and they're all from different countries and they all have real thick accents. Right. So they come over.
Is that Chinese guy like actually Chinese or is he?
Yeah, he's actually Chinese. And
sick.
And the other guitarist is like just British, and they were both sloshed because like we saw them somewhat after their show, and they were coming up to us telling us how. There was two Catholic girls who they were trying to fuck because they were really hot, but they're both, neither of them, I think they're both virgins, and they were like trying to pitch to us this dilemma of like, should we fuck the hot girls we already have who might not put out, or should we go hunting for new hot girls? But this came out like, yeah, well, we got these new hot fucking bitches. And, like, they're totally sloshed, incomprehensible.
Wait, okay. So he was describing this to you, a random fan, asking for your advice on which hot girls
the people's
to fuck.
advice.
It was me and Victor and my cousin Boyd, and like they had come to us after talking to another group of random people. Like they were making fun of this
consensus.
Dude.
They were second opinion.
They were yelling this out on stage, or they were
they're just walking around. This was like a
huge
huge festival. It's an Ozfest show, so like there's food stalls and shit, and they're just like walking around the stall area talking to random people. And like we came up to them because we had seen them talking to these other two guys, and they were making fun of this dude because he was wearing this shirt for like a Christian hardcore band that was at the show. And
was it POD?
No, POD is not a hardcore band. God damn it. Anyway, they were making fun of it because it had like a dinosaur on it, and they were like, "Isn't dinosaurs evolution? I can't have that on a Christian band." And like,
okay,
it was funny. But then and then after the last show, because the headliner I think was Slipknot. After that show, we're leaving the pit, and the two guys are just like kind of standing at the entrance of the pit, like high-fiving people as they walk out. And they said to us, we fucked those two girls. They were awful.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense, virgins.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, that's great.
So yeah, after that show,
I wonder how the girls felt about it. We never got to hear their side.
I'm sure they were fucking terrible too. They're both shit-faced. Like they probably had whiskey dick out the fucking ass. But yeah, it was like after that show, I was like, oh, Dragon Force is so cool. We got to meet him and stuff.
That is
Saw
hilarious.
him a second time. Never listening to this band again.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, that's a fascinating story.
I can't believe that they were so forthcoming with asking just random people that, but it was so cool that they were just wandering around seemingly aimlessly begging for advice.
Who's gonna criticize him? Who's gonna be like, ew, too much information, Mr. Dragon Force man?
I mean, it
was they're just gonna walk away saying, I wish he was fucking me instead.
It was legendary in particular because it was the two guitarists who, like, you know, they like stand back to back and play guitars on stage and shit. And you just have the sense that like they've just become this power duo who just hangs out and tries to fuck girls together. I imagine they did it in front of each other. Like, going by the way the story was playing out, it had to be all in the same place.
Thank goodness.
I mean, that reminds me of the time that I met ex-celebrity at a grocery store in Los Angeles, Tom Cruise. I told him how cool it was to meet him in person. But I didn't want to be a douche and bother him and ask for photos for anything. He said, "Oh, like you're doing now?" I was taken aback, and all I could say was, "Huh?" And he kept cutting me off, going, "Huh, huh, huh," and closing his hands in front of my face. I walked away and continued with my shopping. I heard him chuckle as I walked off. When I came to pay for my stuff up front, I saw him try to walk out of the doors with like 15 Milky Ways in his hands.
Is anyone going to put a stop to this?
No,
the girl at the counter was very nice about it and professional. And she was like, "Sir, you need to pay for those first." But first he kept pretending to be tired and not hear her, but eventually turned back around and brought them to the counter. When she took one of the bars and started scanning it multiple times, he stopped her and told her to scan each individually to prevent electrical interference, he said, and turned around and winked at me. I didn't even think that's a word. After she scanned each bar and put them in a bag and started to say the price, he kept interrupting her by yawning really loudly. All right.
And a copy pasta I'm sure he's read 100 times.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of the best. It's one of the best. All right, that's it. I'm done. It's a great story, though. Tom Cruise. Sorry we had a bad first meeting.
Was it Tom Cruise? I thought it was,
apparently the origin is Flying Lotus, whoever that is.
I don't know who that is.
I've
heard it was
Music Man, I think. Electronic musician Flying Lotus.
He just did a music video that was made by Shinichiro Watanabe.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. And
I've never seen it then.
He's the guy who I rapped over in my Shintaro Kago video. That was a Flying Lotus song because he had him do his cover art.
Meeting celebs at fucking, aka real celebs or fake celebs, e-celebs, is always a magical experience. It's always the highlight of cons. When you just see them, outside of the smoke and mirrors game that they're constantly playing, just walking around, maybe getting a hot dog or a pretzel with cheese sauce, just walking around, and you know that you can engage with them at any time.
Are you
Chief
aware
among
that
them,
there
Dr.
are people
Wolf.
who literally feel that way about you?
That's true. That's true.
More so than I would initially imagine, actually. Anime Expo, not the legendary Anime Expo, but last Anime Expo, was particularly weird because I was, like, stopped more, vastly more so than one would think. Like, very often.
Yeah.
I think, 7 times a day.
That's a lot.
Wow.
I know. For fucking little old me. So it was extremely weird. It was extremely weird to be in that scenario because from my perspective, it's not as though I have a panel or I'm an anime guru or man.
And your face isn't even online that much, comparatively speaking.
Yeah,
so,
that's also another thing to think about, that a lot of times people I don't know what people like imagine me as. Maybe they imagine me as my Kirby avatar or
I
something.
guess
to
your
that
image
effect.
is pretty powerful though. Like people are
Possibly.
aware of what you look
Possibly.
like.
Yeah,
so,
what were you wearing? Were you in like a pizza jumpsuit? Because
I was definitely I was in the pizza jumpsuit one of the days.
Okay,
I was in the Kirby shirt. I was in my iconic wear. So there
That's
is
okay.
that.
Good.
I'm so happy people don't know how I look like.
Yeah, that's a plus.
I'm terrified of people stopping me in the middle of the street being, "Hi, Mage," and I am spooked.
What would
you
be the
gotta
problem
try
with
it.
that? What would
It's
be the
awesome.
problem with that?
No, I'm scared.
I got
What are they
Unless
gonna?
you're shy. It's
They're
worth
going
trying,
to
though.
praise you, or are you like,
Well,
I'm really
okay,
scared
I mean,
that someone's
the-
gonna be
the
like
thing
really
about
happy
it
to
is-
see me.
Once you're in that position, you
can't
cannot
get
go
out,
back.
yeah.
So, like, you know, I get being cautious about it. And frankly, I mean, I don't know. I've been listening a little bit to, like, with this, like, James Charles shit going on or whatever. I don't know. Just for whatever reason, I've been looking back at, like, a couple of, like, fucking, like, PewDiePie, like, what is it? Like, controversy memes. And there was one about, I don't know, like, FouseyTube or something. Whatever. Point was, like, PewDiePie was just saying, like, yeah, I fucking hate being in public. It's the worst. And I'm like, it makes sense. Probably gets harassed, like, a lot every time he's in public.
If you're PewDiePie, you would be getting stopped everywhere, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know he's, like, obviously the far reach, like, the most
that's
you
the
could
thing.
be.
Like,
still.
I enjoy it at a convention because
Sure.
I'm going
Sure.
there
You're
anticipating
kind of there
it.
for that, yeah.
And like, if it happens randomly every once in a while, like at my level of fame, it's exciting because it's like, wow,
Yeah.
people in the place I live know who I am. That's cool. And it's only happened like 3 times. Well, maybe like 5 times. Like, but yeah, I've been, most of it was in Rochester, weirdly. Like, I would get, one guy recognized me at a grocery store, at a theme park, and at the mall. Like, I think those
They
are
have
the
a
only
convention
3.
there, right? Did they have an anime convention?
Yeah, and
there?
I did the convention, and, you know, obviously
Yeah.
people knew who I was at the con, but, like,
Mhm.
I'd never been stopped anywhere in Virginia Beach before, but in Rochester, it was, like, a few times, and, like, it's always like, wow, I feel like a walking legend, you know, but, like,
Yeah.
it would very easily cross a threshold. If it was happening even once a week, I would get sick of it.
Right.
So with PewDiePie, it's got to be daily.
And none of us have really gotten to that point, or even close. So I mean, just
not even
and like
close.
when you like the things
I don't
like
want to sound like I'm
VidCon.
tooting my own horn or anything. It was at a convention, which vastly increases the odds. But even
Sure,
still, I
of
was
course.
surprised by it.
Still, though, yeah.
I'm
I mean,
just-
And
7 times
shit
a
like
day.
VidCon, where people are straight up in danger because crowds are swarming to such ridiculous
dude,
degrees.
videos of VidCon are fucking crazy, dude. They're
Yeah.
like literal like swarms of dude. Okay, because it's totally dystopian. It's fucking crazy seeing like a crowd of people all with their phones out, circled or like surrounding Casey Neistat, all like with video cameras above their head to vlog seeing Casey Neistat in the exact same experience that all of these other like hundreds of people are doing. So this person's vlog, if you're vlogging that moment, you're just like a fucking like a complete sheep. You have no agency whatsoever. Just
It is
all recording the
fascinating.
exact same fucking thing. For the
things
views,
like that.
dude. Hell yeah.
I mean, things like that really seem to me to like make me believe not only that like human beings are complete like sheep, but it's specifically that like, oh my god, like my fellow human beings would absolutely like trample me and tear me apart for the sake of like some small gain of their own. I mean, not to that degree, but you know what I mean.
I was just thinking about this like yesterday, and I want to talk about it. That it fascinates me the level people will go to just like touch fame, even though it's not hard to get.
Yeah.
And it's
It
like
takes more work though.
it's really interesting to me like how people think of it, because I've seen plenty of people in online circles who just kind of become friends with a lot of famous people by just messaging them and like being
Literally
interesting.
me. Literally
Like,
me.
yeah, like there's lots of people who just, because they
More
look
so
at
than
that
just you
person
guys.
and they think, oh, that seems like a cool guy who I bet I could have a fun conversation with. And so they just approach you and, you know, do so well, and then like you're friends. And then there's other people who like view you, if you even have like, say, 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, they think you're like untouchable. Like, I can't believe you would have time to like, I still today have times where I respond to somebody's comment on YouTube and they might be like, oh my god, I can't believe Digibro responded to me. And I'm like, dude, I hang out in like a Discord server of people. Like, I'm fucking easy to reach. Like, message me
They
on
just
Twitter.
don't know.
It's,
I just don't know.
and it's really funny because, like, my mom is very much a fame chaser of this sort, and like she loves going to concerts, and she always tries to meet the band. Like she's a huge fan of the band System of a Down, and she like has pictures she's taken with the band members that she like treasures like they are the most important things she has. Is like these pictures are like momentary interactions that she'll remember forever. And like I guess I understand that, but for me, I've gotten into a position where like the people who I look up to or admire, I can just hang out with because I'm famous. Like I got to go to Dick Masterson's house because he's never even seen any of my content, I don't think. Like I just am somebody who happens to
maybe
be
your lecture?
Moderate.
The
lecture? Except for the lecture. Yeah. But like he had me on his show even before then, just because he knew that I was a guy who had a lot of followers who happened to be at his live show. So he brought me on the show to talk about it. And it's like, that is the basis of our relationship. Is I'm a guy who has followers who is a fan of his, And it's just funny for me to think that like there are people who call into that show who are like, oh man, I would do anything to be able to get a spot on the Dick show. And it's like, I just kind of got it just because I am somewhat famous. And like, I think anybody, I don't feel like it's hard to do. I feel like it's pretty easy to just, if you even open your mouth on the internet about anything of interest and like 10 people follow you, you're already on the path. Like you just got to keep doing that and you will get bigger.
We've certainly lowered the bar for entry massively. With the
speaking of the well, when you said about when you left a reply on a YouTube comment and someone was like, "Oh shit, did you?" Bro replied. That reminded me of like one time I commented on some random video and someone was like, "Oh, you're Lethal Aurora Mage. Wow, fancy meeting you here." And I'm like, yeah, I enjoy media online as well. Fancy that. But that also gives me like a scary thought. It was like, when you're famous, it's kind of hard to just leave random comments on videos because people will just like take it as like some sort of mega statement that like you post. You're just like, hey, I like your music, and suddenly news article, Digibro liked this music. He supports the artist.
We see people, make articles about that kind of shit with really high profile people. So
I have been from the very beginning very careful about that. Like I won't comment or like something unless I do completely stand by it because I expect that.
Yeah, you're forced to make those kind of at least weigh that as part of your decision, and it sucks. I mean, but it's kind of life.
You say it sucks, but all you have to do is make it all to count. Like just.
I mean, true.
Make a sock puppet that you can use to comment. Like tons of people do it. It's interesting when you go to. If you go to a lot of like famous YouTube channels and stuff, they often don't use that as their main one. Because like you'll go to say Ego Raptor and like he has no subscriptions, and it's like, well, you obviously subscribe to people on YouTube,
right?
You must have another account, I think that's pretty common.
True. In fact, I've kind of been meaning to do that just for the sake of convenience, so I just don't have to think about this, so I can just be like, yeah, whatever, this is my fucking... In fact, I have several accounts that I use for, like, uploading, like, test uploads and shit like that.
I want to make one just for shit posting, because I get... There's times where I watch videos and I have something really mean to say, and I'm like, if I say this as myself, people are going to be like, what the fuck? So I need to make a just shit posting account.
I guess I don't know, not to make it too serious or anything, but like I think about like if that's like kind of fucked up to like hide who I really am when I make a certain comment, like because the same exact thought crosses my mind all the time. But I'm like,
the thing is, who you really are. Like, I mean, as a content creator, you are. You're only showing a little bit of yourself anyway. Like, who you really are is always veiled. If anybody had a direct read into any of our minds, they would hear...
We'd all go to jail.
All kinds of... I mean, I don't think there's anybody whose mind is sanitary who can, like, not think anything fucked up or bad at all. So, like, ultimately, it's just about, like, which thoughts do you decide to represent as part of your character. I think it's totally fair to represent other thoughts as part of a different character.
I gotcha. And isn't that a fascinating thing? I kind of feel like a lot of what the modern world is going to is the sort of the expectation that everybody is clean all the time. And I mean, it just goes in line with this like old post that we've made before posts mattered and you could shit talk and nobody cared. But now that's being it's being recontextualized and changed. And I mean, I get it. It's just, I think as we get more and more into each other's heads, we're going to see more and more shit we don't like seeing. And I think the best thing we need is some sort of exhaust valve to be like, okay, you know what? I shouldn't care that this person said this fucked up thing at this time. I should not care that much, because we all say fucked up things and think to ourselves fucked up shit. As long as it's not hurting anybody directly.
The sort of combining of two things, where on one hand, all of your interactions you have are like encased into marble, and you cannot scrub them clean no matter what you do. You can delete a post. Doesn't mean it's not going to be on the Wayback Machine if it was a really controversial post or anything like that. So really, there's not anything you can do. But also, because of that, now people are really scared of posting things that may be considered, controversial or bad. So then it can breed a situation, where there's no bad posts on a particular profile because they've made it to be that way intentionally. So then it can have an air of like perfection or pristineness that is not natural.
What the cultural shift I want to see the most is to not be so hard up on trying to not be wrong. Like, it feels like if you say something wrong these days, people will jump down your throat about it. And, like, I don't think that being correct all the time is that interesting or necessary or, like, makes you a better person because everything you say isn't wrong.
In a way, I think it's less about you being wrong and more people just wanting the gotcha moment, being correct on the internet, getting their limelight.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And it's kind of sad.
They want to be able to feel like they have something over you, which it's understandable because it's sort of like justified bullying in a way. It's like, because the reason people bully is always that someone has power over them, they want to have power over someone else. And like in a culture where we understand that bullying is wrong, it's like, how can I bully you but be correct in doing so, be justified? And it's like, oh, you said something wrong, I'm gonna harangue you about it. And it's like, yeah, but who gives a shit?
And the mental gymnastics some people go through just to twist your words into being wrong so they can be right is scary.
This may be a provocative example, but like the whole Pro Jared thing going on recently, I'm very much reminded of. And at first, I mean, obviously a lot going on there, but like the first thing that we all hear...
Too much going on there.
The only thing I want to get into is specifically that at the point that we're at now, so like obviously Jared was involved with some degree to other women. I don't know what the timeline is. But like the timeline's actually kind of important because it sounds like they were going through like a period of breaking up since like February. So like I don't know exactly when the whole underage thing again. Like maybe here's my point. Bad things were said about Jared, and I'm sure some of them are true, but we really don't know exactly what is true and what he knew when. And, like, if he did bad things exactly at this specific time. And on the whole charge of, like, cheating on his wife, all I'm saying is, she says that he cheated. His response is, we actually had a more complicated open relationships, which it seems to a degree is true. So my only thing is, well, shit, this is complicated. I don't know what to say. Yeah, he did in like his most recent update or whatever.
The wife confirmed it as well. She said eventually she called
but that's
it off.
The thing. And
so
yet people are still
it's such
saying...
a clusterfuck.
Wait,
and
what?
The last update was he put out a message that said like, and she responded to it, but he said like, we had an open relationship and blah blah blah. Things got out of hand. Things went bad. Et cetera.
What did she say to that?
Basically, she said like that's. I think she agreed that it was somewhat true, but like the thing with Heidi, for example, like went way beyond what they had agreed
you mean
to.
Holly?
Right. Yeah, that's what I meant. That went, like, she specifically said, like, don't do this. Okay, so, like, now, in order for us to make a determination who's bad and who's good, I need to know the timeline, the motivation of characters involved, exactly. And so my point is, I cannot sort this out. I can't do it.
Nor should you have to for any reason at all.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm getting to.
Bad isn't necessary.
I absolutely hate things like this because, on the one hand, like, for some weird part of my brain is fascinated by internet celebrity drama, but at the same time, I'll be checking out of the grocery store and I'll see People magazine and I'll like puke in my mouth. And this is the exact same thing. It's just
Yeah,
People
it is.
Magazine for e-celebs on Twitter.
Yeah.
So
I was deeply ashamed of myself for finding myself like totally like engaged in this and like
right. I'm a
Me
total
too.
hypocrite,
Me
and
too.
it disgusts myself.
I'm
Like,
Yeah,
I
so
just
yeah,
hate
happy
it.
yeah.
to announce that I have no idea what you're talking about, and there's
Everyone, I'd like to make a public statement. I have no idea what any of you are talking about.
the
proudly,
only
frankly,
one that's
I'm
loving
proudly
it.
announcing.
You are a champion among us.
To
Mage,
me,
for
there's
sure.
like there's it's like with something like the Pro Jared situation, it's so like, again, like you said, unclear, and also
Yeah.
it's just something that, like, if I was a fan, this doesn't
Yeah.
affect his content in any way. Like
It
like, okay,
doesn't.
if he actually did like have sex with an underage girl or like send dick pics to underage girls, then that's bad, okay? You know, you should probably
Yeah.
like the authorities might want to get involved with that. You know,
Like,
whatever.
I mean,
if
the stuff about cheating on his wife, that's, you know, maybe bad, but
I
it's
don't
none
give
of our
a fuck if
business.
somebody cheats
Yeah,
on their
yeah.
wife. Like,
It's
Yeah, I
not,
really-
it's no
that's
one,
too
it's
complicated.
nobody
I don't
else's
fucking-
business at all.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
stuff,
Right.
okay, the stuff about the underage girl, I find the timing of when all that happened to be very suspicious. Like, isn't it strange that his wife outs him as a cheater, public opinion suddenly turns against him, and then only at that moment a handful of people come out
But
and say,
that's-
"Oh yeah, he
that's
did all
how
these other
all of
bad
these
stuff too,
fucking
and he's
things
fired
work,
for it. We were
right?
investigating this whole time, but only now are we
Yeah.
going to say anything
Everybody
about it."
acts
I mean,
like the
yeah.
people who come out and confess are such heroes, but it's like if you've known for years and you haven't said anything, only now when it's publicly safe to come out and like dogpile, like you're just as
Yeah.
much of an asshole. Like I have no respect for you.
Well,
I don't-
I mean, again, like maybe these people are true heroes who felt super scared by the powerful Pro Jared, and
Oh,
only
yeah,
now
yeah.
they
I
feel.
mean-
I'm just saying, maybe that's true. I don't fucking
smell-
know.
But that's still wrong.
I smell,
That doesn't
I smell,
matter.
Well,
I
I guess,
smell a
yeah.
little whiff of bullshit on that whole thing. But at the end of the day, like these allegations are criminal and therefore should be decided in a court of law and not in the court of
I
public.
just
Well,
think
you know what
it's
people
super-
say.
I think it's
Yeah, go
super
on.
weird for, and like, granted, I don't think anybody gave a fuck about Pro Jared at the time this happened. I think him bleeding all those subscribers was more like people having a
Yeah.
excuse to
It's,
unsubscribe
yeah. Like
finally.
if he were like he hadn't
Perhaps.
uploaded a video in like 4 months.
Right, and he hasn't been
yeah.
relevant in years. His videos have very low view counts, even among the
Apparently,
ones he
that
has
was due
uploaded.
to
So,
like personal issues, but I mean that is true. That is
whatever
you
the
guys
case may
wanna know-
be,
Oh, yeah.
people,
Yeah.
I don't think, like, people act like, I'm so offended he cheated on his wife. If he was making great content, people wouldn't care. Like, JonTron,
Mhm.
when he got into his whole racist thing, like, he had a huge backlash, his whole subreddit turned against him, he lost a bunch of subs, put out more videos that people liked, and it completely blew over.
It was
I mean,
fine.
people will get over this because
Right.
honestly, because this issue, like, what's the substance? I mean, call
I'll
the
tell
fucking
you
cops.
what it is. It's a
Yeah.
whole lot of virtue signaling. It's
Exactly.
a whole
Sure is,
lot
buddy.
of, I
It sure
don't
is.
like that Pro Jared did this thing, so I'm unsubscribing. And I'm just like, what even is the virtue
What a hero.
of this for a guy cheating on his, like, I don't like cheating. I would not do it, but
Mhm.
I don't understand the moral. It's like, it's just some
Frankly,
social
we don't even know
contract
if he
you have
really
with the
did
government.
cheat.
Like, it's not,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, why are we judging somebody on the basis of like what their sex life is like? I just don't get that.
Look, I mean, yeah. People don't think about this, but let's just paint the theoretical scenario about a man who's in a somewhat open marriage with a wife who, let's just say for the sake of possible example, is horrible to him. I'm not saying she was, but like, okay, maybe it would make sense why they drift apart and he is like with other women. And as we've established, some degree of open marriage. Now, that's just a hypothetical. I have no idea how good or bad this man was, but like, because that's possible, I just think that it makes sense to just like hold off and let
I
people
have
with
a-
knowledge sort it out.
I have an interesting. I have a different perspective that I gained this past week because I was saying this before the show started. So I've been listening. While I've been working and doing other stuff, I've been binge watching a ton of like the Penny Arcade D&D games, specifically the C Team with Amy Falcone and Chris Straub and some other guys. But they did a crossover event with another group called Dice Camera Action, I think, or aka Waffles Incorporated. This is, and the thing that's relevant there is that two of the players in that game, a long-running game, are Pro Jared and Holly Conrad.
Right.
Which is very interesting. And that game is mostly played like over like Skype calls, right? Like over video chat. But for this like special crossover event, they all came and they sat in the room. And I think
so. This is
I'm
when
not
it
sure,
happened. Is that what you're trying to say?
Maybe.
Oh, definitely. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that this is like during like when like they were cheating or they were fucking each other at this time that this event was recorded.
Yep.
And I don't know. It was just really weird with this new context. I was watching them, and the two of them are like they will like make goofy faces at each other, and they look at each other a bunch, and like funny enough, their sort of whole character arc is like they are like star-crossed lovers that can't be together. Yeah.
Wow.
Straight up. One of them is from like a family that has like pacts with demons, and the other is from one that has pact with angels, and it's like if they get together, the multiverse is destroyed, so they make a deal with Asmodeus to like change their fucking family I'm like, oh my god, I can't fucking believe this.
That's
That is
crazy.
fascinating.
It's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
I want there to be a psychological study on like how often do people's D&D campaigns just reflect like their inner, like what they want to be happening in real life, or like how they see themselves.
I am 100. Okay, I've been watching the C Team. I am like 100% convinced that like everyone's character is just what they want to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Fascinating.
I mean, mine was when I was playing Nigga Rafiki and I had 5,000 bottles of ale, and that was all I had.
Word.
Like I don't know, Chris Straub plays this drow who is like a complete introvert who like doesn't understand social interaction and like hates his physical body and like just wants like is disgusted by his physical existence and only wants to like consider like high-minded like divinity and stuff, and the Dragonborn Dinar Blitzen, he's like this fucking like highfalutin fucking like narcissist Chad guy who's played by kind of this schlubby guy who loves sports and wrestling. Like I the list goes on. I'm convinced. I'm absolutely convinced that everyone's D&D character is just what their inner self looks like.
Well, that is fascinating
whether they intend it or not.
And by the way, on this issue, I just want to be super clear. Like, if I hate cheaters, and more than anything, I hate liars. People who lie regularly are absolute scum to me. But the issue is, yeah, exactly. I despise lying in every capacity. It's just that I don't actually know which accusations are true or false, so I can't identify who's the bad guy yet. But when we do, we'll probably never know for sure by my standard. Here's
the thing. So I've been, in addition to all that, I've been listening to some Slavoj Žižek.
Yeah,
and in particular, this started with the Jordan Peterson debate, and he raised an example in that I kind of want to dig into like more about where it came from and who said it originally, because I think he was quoting, but he said something about like, in a imagine a husband who is jealous of his wife. He's convinced that his wife is cheating on him, and he's upset by it. And he said that even if it's all true, like the husband's jealousy is still pathological. And I was like,
because it's too late. It's already, the ship sailed, and she's like gone.
I don't really know the explanation, but I think it's like, well, you can't control what she's doing. Like, if you are like obsessing over this, and this is like causing you great grief, and you continue, like, you've got to
break it up or do something.
Break it up or fucking like do something about it. Don't just be a fucking like jealous cucked husband who's upset about it. Like, do something. And I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe that applies to his wife. I don't know. The point is, I don't feel bad for his wife. I think his wife probably is this doesn't give me any.
I don't know, man.
Judging by the way she's acted on Twitter, I don't think you should feel sorry for her. But
she's what on Twitter?
Just the way
by the way she's acted.
I don't feel any sympathy for her. I'm not convinced. Even if Jared did her wrong, that doesn't make me think she's good.
No. Nate,
sure.
I'm curious. Like, I know you say you hate cheaters, but would you ever like if you found out that what's her name, the girl Sapokanikin, what am I thinking of?
Joanna Newsom.
If it turned out Joanna Newsom was cheating on fucking Jew boy
Andy Kaufman.
God, why can't
Andy
I
Warhol.
Andy Samberg.
If you found out she was cheating on Andy Samberg, would this affect your listening to her music at all?
Okay, unfortunately, I think that it probably would. I don't think. I think
That's
that
amazing to me. Like,
yeah,
I don't
want it to. I just think that I'd be like,
mean,
man, this sucks.
The thing is that like I think first of all, most creatives are damaged individuals, and second of all,
Sure.
most people are doing something fucked up. Like,
I mean,
most
I agree.
people
I just don't
have
want to know about it.
yeah. I mean, it's just like I kind of assume that like there's always going to be something about everybody that if I knew it, I mean, even just like there's lots of music I listen to from people who I think are like politically fucking retarded or
Sure,
something,
of
and
course.
like I know that. And maybe it enters my mind every once in a while, but like if the music is good, the music is good, and like I just kind of have to assume that if I knew everything about everyone I listen to, I would not be able to listen to anything.
I mean, I think if I knew everything about any individual, I would find them contemptible and disgusting, because I'm sure people would feel the same way about me if they knew like my innermost thoughts all the time. And so I agree, but like I just think this is why I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's going on in people's heads.
It's really fascinating to me though, like what gets into people's craw, because it's like there are a lot of rappers, for instance, who have literally murdered people, and
right.
like nobody holds that against their music. And
like Pro Jared's a way worse person for cheating on his wife, potentially,
or like
as
Kanye
opposed to
West,
murderers.
who, like Kanye gets like totally ass blasted by like the whole black community for like wearing a Trump hat, and it's like you guys are listening to people who kill people, and like people are like, oh, I don't listen to Kanye because he has political opinions I disagree with.
He has a hat I don't like.
It's a funny thing, dude. It's a funny thing.
Someone on Twitter, I saw this was on the day that the Pro Jared story broke. Someone was like, peanut butter, normal boots when JonTron says his racist shit, like, oh, fuck you, we don't want to be associated with you. Pro Jared when he cheats on his wife, oh, we're sorry, man, hope things get better for you. And I read this and I'm like, yeah, those aren't even similar. Why would you, why is it hypocritical to react differently to those two things?
Well, I mean,
it's like, oh, these two people both did something that I disagree with. Why is there not an equal outcry for both things?
Well, I suppose they could be making the point that, like cheating on one's wife is more,
I think being racist is worse than cheating on your wife.
Well, okay, I mean, we'd have to get into the discussion of, was it in fact racist? You can make a case.
Okay, I'm just accepting this guy's premise.
Okay, if you accept the premise,
if we accept the premise that
JonTron
JonTron said horrible, I actually don't know what JonTron said that was this event. I'm unclear exactly.
Essentially, he quoted statistics, but
I'm willing to meet this guy on his own terms.
Okay, sure.
And I hate it.
The JonTron thing was just that he made the awful mistake of debating with Destiny, and
well, yeah, fair enough.
And that was basically it. It was just him and Destiny had a debate about the fact that he was into Sargon and shit, and was
there's a fucking thing that would make me mad.
Oh boy, I have not had any more fun than making Sargon's current downfall is the funniest thing in the fucking world.
I've heard the thing about joking about raping MPs. I don't know what he actually said. I don't know what an MP is.
Well,
did you know that two worlds are colliding right now? Because I'm over here just following Brexit news as hardcore and as intensely as possible every day. I wake up and I read the BBC, and then from off screen, there's a glimmer of light in the distance. I squint my eyes, and then in 3 frames max, there's a punch from who other than Sargon of Akkad entering the political sphere out of fucking nowhere. Ben, I thought I left you behind. How did you get here?
Ben, are you aware that Sargon is running for office in?
Yeah.
So
I did.
Yeah,
a position in the EU,
dude.
Yeah.
It is the funniest fucking thing in the world.
I've seen clips of him just being really belligerent, in public, at his public appearances.
Sargon of Akkad is a fucking moron. He's an absolute moron.
He absolutely is a fucking moron.
And he is running for office because the party that got him is basically a totally irrelevant party that is just clinging to him because he is more relevant than they are. So they see him as famous YouTube guy.
This is our ticket. This is our ticket to recognition or something.
But the fact of the matter is that while Sargon is, somewhat internet famous, he's not necessarily taken seriously, and less so as he continues to make a fucking fool of himself. And there's this great I highly recommend this particularly to Nate. There's this YouTuber called Porsalin, spelled Porsalin, who does these like hour and a half long documentaries about people that are extremely well made. And
that sounds nifty.
He's definitely, he himself is a like far right like pole meme lord, but the people who he rags on are other like right wing people who have just fucked up so badly that they are now laughing stocks within their own community. And so he has one about Sargon that's like an hour 45 minutes, fucking hilarious. Just it goes through his entire history and every dipshit move he's made. But like the most recent one,
but that almost feels scary in a way. That almost feels like going back to what we were talking about earlier, where it's like, okay, well, he's made mistakes, but he's just made one too many that broke the camel's back, and now he has a hit piece video about him.
That's the thing. The thing about it though is that, and this is why I'm bringing it up, because with Pro Jared, I'm like, guy cheats on his wife. That's unfortunate. It's bedroom politics. I have nothing to do with it. You guys sort that out. With Sargon, he's running for office. So what he does matter. What he says, what his like positions are when he's saying it in interviews. It's like the entertainment value in watching this man dig his own grave is in that he is so self-important that he believes that he's doing something good. Like, it's one thing if like, say, if something I did, like, let's say I did some heinous act and it came to light, my best course of action would be to apologize, right? It would be like, hey man, I'm sorry about what happened. You know, this was something that happened in my day-to-day life. Maybe there's more context or something. I don't know. Like, this is a fictional scenario. But with Sargon, this is his public statements as a man running for office. Like, as a public figure, he is saying and doing things that are so hilariously retarded that you have to make fun of him so that people understand that if you're going to run for office, you can't do these things.
What's he saying?
The most recent one and funniest is he was defending Amos Yee. You guys remember that guy, right?
I remember
do.
Amos Yee, yeah.
Yeah,
Amos Yee
pro
was
pedophile guy.
He patroned me and Jesse for a little while. He was a pedophile who is like, he's like the world's
I think he's
foremost
I don't think he is specifically a pedophile.
No, he is. He's been to jail several times for pedophilia.
Okay, if you say so.
He is a many times incriminated pedophile who is also like a public defender of pedophilia. And basically his platform is that because there have been cases wherein the child was not harmed or wherein the child enjoyed the relationship, it therefore is not always not okay.
Did this guy want you to read a thing on how they marketed?
Yes, I did a bit on him and how they marketed because he
remember
wanted me to market his video defending pedophilia. And I just made like a clip like talking about it and explaining why I thought it was wrong-headed. Like, because I mean, the bottom line is there's no way to measure the psychological damage done to somebody. It's like you can't say, oh, the kid enjoyed it and therefore it's okay. It's like you don't know what the long-term effects of that could be.
Exactly.
There's so many questions to be asked, and it's like in this sphere, it's always going to be an arbitrary line. You know, what we decide is the age is always going to be arbitrary, but we have to have something just so that we as a society can say, all right, here's a hard and fast rule, just follow this rule. The bottom line is...
And to be fair, to his point, we are technically repressing some freedoms, but it's for protection, so there's a balance to be found
freedoms all the
there,
time.
so.
The whole basis of society is repress. You don't have the freedom to murder people because we repress that. It's like, dude, the bottom line is you don't have to fuck kids. You can just wait till they grow up.
What did
How
Sargon
hard is that?
Oh yeah, but let's get back to the Sargon issue.
So Sargon,
what was his
well,
position?
Sargon had apparently defended Amos Yee at some point. So this gets brought up in like an interview. You know, for a political interview.
It is important. It is important how he defended him because there's a lot of different ways to defend.
Well, he basically restated his argument. He literally said, like, well, you can't say it's always bad if sometimes it goes okay. And everyone was just like, all right, Sargon.
But I mean, that's true.
All right, go ahead and say it.
Yeah, all right.
It was just...
The fascinating thing about all this is I'm actually a big Sargon fan. A big Sargon fan.
Are you really?
And I really am. I unironically
How?
am.
That guy's so
he's
retarded.
I'll tell you.
He's a complete stooge.
Look, I'll tell you how. It's because where you guys are asserting that he's, like a grandstander and, I don't know, doing it maybe for attention or something. I mean, I've been convinced, maybe I'm crazy, I've been convinced he's doing it for principles that he believes
no, I
in.
totally think he's doing it for principles. What are you talking about? I never said he was a grandstander. He's just retarded.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Oh, I mean, that you can make a case for that, sure. That's fair.
I used to sort of like his content, and then I stopped caring.
No, he is just like a complete like alt-right stooge. Like, he doesn't even know
he's not
what
even
he's
on the
Yeah,
alt-right.
No. Listen.
Oh,
He doesn't
okay.
even get it. He doesn't even know that he's doing it half the time. But he just
Why do you think
are
you
you
know
gonna-
better
he's
than
just
the guy?
he's just thoughtless in the things that he repeats.
I
as
agree with
fact.
what you're saying, Ben, that he is thoughtless. I don't think I don't think he has led himself to the conclusions that alt-right people have.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I mean, he argues all day against identitarianism.
He does function as an unwitting mouthpiece for like conservative fucking I don't know.
I mean, I've
monsters.
seen some Sargon stuff. I've never seen him be a mouthpiece for conservative.
Ben, what's the
values.
position that he is a mouthpiece on that he's unaware of? If you can think of
I
something.
mean, isn't he kind of in bed with like metaphorically, not in like a pro Jared kind of way? You know what I'm saying?
There he goes.
But he's kind of in bed with like Lauren Southern and that fucking guy who sells the brain pills and
Alex Jones, you mean?
The brain?
No, not Alex Jones. But, well, maybe him, but the guy who just the fucking
Paul Joseph Watson?
Ben, I mean,
yeah,
okay,
Watson.
I'm not. I'm not trying to catch or anything, but like I asked you for like a position, and you're saying he's associated with these people, therefore, and that doesn't seem like a.
Well, isn't
fair.
he
No.
okay? Okay? I'll give a position. He kind of seems like he's one of these like Islamophobic, like no refugees ever kind of.
I mean, he definitely believes strongly in border control, but I just think there's a principled argument to make for it. I mean, in his case, the sake of the British populace and protecting their lower classes from immigration, which pushes down wages, which is bad for their people. I mean, you can argue that. You can say that he has malicious intent or something. I think his case is reasonable.
You're misreading me. I'm not saying that he has malicious intent. I'm sure he does believe the things he says, and generally thinks that he's saying the right things for the right reasons with good intentions. I just think he is a stooge who has no fucking clue.
Just the only question on this is: so do you think it's fair to say that like you said, if he's reaching the same conclusion as alt-right people, let's say of close the borders, something like that, then reaching that for any reason is like playing into the hands, even when you have like a decent argument for it? Because I mean, what can you do? What can you do if you really believe it? Yeah.
You could get smart for one thing. Well, here's what I'm saying. I've seen like, in particular, I've seen videos from Sean, the YouTuber Sean, where he deconstructs Sargon's points and arguments that Sargon has made, and shows that like the things he is quoting are wrong. That he is like knowingly or not, he is quoting like Nazi sympathizers and stuff. He is repeating facts that are demonstrably false. Things like that.
I mean, you gotta remember, Hitler was right about some things. Like everybody's right about some things. Like
Even a broken clock
throw
is
it
right
under the bus
two times a day, as they say.
Right?
Is that true? Have we tested that?
I just think it's unfair to say that just because an alt-right person also said the thing that like. To me, alt-right is a totalizing position. It's like
Ben.
if you don't believe literally all of the things, then you're not that.
Alt-right breathes air.
That's true.
Do you condemn
Solid.
the breathing of air? I guess.
Solid.
Two things. Number one, I just want to comment on this Emo PCP guy. He looks like if you put like the dryer on high, you threw Econ in, like left them there for like 6 hours, and he tumbled out and like was completely broken. Like his hair is just constantly unkempt and
He's
just
got a
like
poof.
it just obliterated his like more like if Econ's atoms were just like splattered, maybe like a millimeter or something. But now he's just constantly like a being of chaos. Also, number two, I wanted to comment on Sargon of Akkad, not in a political sense, but more like a political analysis sense about what I'll give you a little more context about him running. So he has joined the UK Independence Party, which was the original party behind Brexit. Well, not behind,
Right.
more,
Yeah.
you know, a
Major proponent
of
and
it.
whatnot.
And
yeah.
what's funny about UKIP is they are in a fucking tailspin right now, and they and the leading party, the Conservatives, are just fucking getting obliterated. When you hear conservatives, don't think conservative Americans different.
Right.
But so UKIP was the Nigel Farage party, but now Nigel Farage left, and so now they've just been in and that for that and numerous other reasons, they've just been crashing and burning. And so I like the aesthetic, the image, the painting that is being depicted in real life of UKIP soaring high, getting Brexit, the vote, and they've just been a victorious moment, and then just through the constant struggle of Brexit, Nigel Farage leaving due to controversy within the group, and now they're just like in like a burning, sinking ship. They're like, oh god, who's our poster child? We need a new fucking guy. Sargon of Akkad, that works. That's fine. Anyone.
Well, it's the two-headed dragon of Sargon of Akkad and
Count
Dankula.
Count Dankula.
Yeah.
Which Count Dankula
You can tell
seems
me and
like
Tom
he's
follow
in
this
it
shit.
for the meme. Like he's always just looks like a smiley fucking guy. He's just like, yeah, like I don't know if any of this is working or doing anything, but I'm here because this is clearly hilarious. Sargon, meanwhile, is taking it completely seriously, and everyone's just laughing at him.
Well, here's one of the
even on his
reasons
own
why I like the
team.
guy. I mean, okay, but he just
UKIP's
got
a
his
funny
entire
team.
channel demonetized, and what is his response? I'm gonna keep going. I mean, is this the mark of like a bad person or someone
Nate,
who's
fucking, do you realize how much fucking that restarted his career? Like, this dude was not really relevant, and then suddenly everybody's talking about him again because
I mean, how is
got kicked off the
800,000
Patreon.
subs irrelevant? I mean, he's making a fine living doing his
okay,
shit.
having subscribers
less
has
than
nothing to do
Pro
with
Jared
relevance.
had.
What is his fucking view
Well, you just made
counts?
it about relevance.
No, I'm saying that I'm saying subscriber count does not imply relevance. You can have dead subs forever.
Okay, sure. That's fair. That's
His
fair.
videos get decent view counts, don't they? I don't think like
It's
there's.
not that
okay.
I'm saying he's not I'm not saying he's not at all relevant. Like, he literally is nobody now. I'm saying that
Sure.
at the height of Gamergate, he was the guy. Like, he was the guy who made that
Him and
movement
Medicare.
as big as it is. And now
Those are the days.
Now, and he's been trying to somehow get back to that. I don't know if you saw the whole. Oh, you just gotta
mean
watch
get
the
back
fucking
to it?
documentary, goddammit.
What better argument is there against Sargon of Akkad that he was a Gamergate guy?
He was the
Like, right-
Gamergate guy.
Dude,
I mean,
okay.
again, we would just reach totally different conclusions on that as we have in the past.
I guess so.
Here's an example. This comes from Sean on his Curious Cat. Example of Sargon being a stooge. He repeats the fascist lie that Heather Heyer died of a heart attack because she was unfit, rather than being hit by a car driven by James Fields at Charlottesville. This was someone was hit by a car at a protest or something, and the right falsely spread the rumor that she actually died of a heart attack. Ha ha ha! Isn't that funny? No, she was just murdered because someone ran her. Because a fucking right winger ran her over with a car.
Great, we've heard his side. Now we need to dive into exactly what situation he said that in. I mean, maybe our boy Sean is literally lying and it was like a joke. He said, I don't know. I need to find out.
I'm totally willing to believe that Sargon just heard that and thought it was true.
Yes, and that's what I think he does.
Right. Well, that's why I think he's a moron, because it's nothing to do with his political opinions. I don't give a shit. It's just the way he presents himself and talks that, like, I get the sense that this dude, like, just kind of, listens to the talking points of other people, collects the ones that sound good and parrots them, and then has
the ones that support his sort of general
right,
brand
and he has no
worldview.
idea how to really defend those things in argument. Because, like, when Sargon makes scripted content, he's just, like, making a formulated point on the basis of whatever data he has, and that can come out fine a lot more easily. If you listen to the man debate anyone, he clowns himself into oblivion. He is so bad at debating. He just kind of talks over people and shuts them down and continually insists that they're not really listening to him, it's really embarrassing.
Actually, I watched recently a video of him talking to an interviewer, and she completely didn't listen to him at all. And, like, no matter what he said, she just kept pressing her own words and questions, and it's just
Well, anytime you talk to the mainstream media, you're fucked because they don't give a shit.
It was just so aggravating. I stopped watching. It was me and Biter. We were watching together, and it was like, Biter, stop! No, I don't want to watch.
Was that the Sky News clip? There was a whole clip I was seeing about Sky News put out this video where they heavily doctored it, but he secretly recorded the whole thing, and the context was totally different there. So
I don't know.
I mean,
I just
but
know
like
he was
that's
talking
that's
to a female
that's a totally
interviewer, and
different.
she
It's a
was-
totally different context because like the
Yeah,
mainstream
yeah.
media will fuck you no matter who you are to further their own agenda. But like Sargon, when he debates people on the internet, like internet blood sports, whatever the fuck you want to call it, he's not a good debater. He says a lot of stupid things, and that's gotten him in trouble.
Dude, indeed.
He always
Indeed.
tries to do this thing where he always tries to be clever. Like he's always trying to throw what you say back at you, or like try to find a way to make it into like a funny joke, and he's really bad at it. Again, I would recommend the Porsalin documentary on him. It's basically a chronicle of like his whole career. I mean, everything he's ever done, and why exactly his own team is turning against him now. It's pretty.
What do you mean by
fucking
his own
funny.
team? Is that like UKIP or like his
no,
employees?
like all the other like right wing YouTube crew. You know, like everybody who the
yes.
skeptic community.
Who's
if you
the
will.
right wing YouTube crew?
Just
would you
everybody.
say?
Everybody in the main
Okay.
guy who's sort of the main reason I think that he's gotten into heat with his community is because he's beefing with Mr. Medeker and looking like the asshole in that beef. And so because people and also the Ralph retort. So like because Medeker and Ralph
I don't know
are
anything about the
sort
Ralph
of the
retort.
more relevant voices now and are memeing on him so fucking hard, it's it's turning a lot of people against
I mean,
him.
it doesn't surprise me at all that Medeker is memeing on him. I mean, like Medeker takes the piss out of everybody when they do things. Like when they treat anything with any sort of seriousness, Medeker seems to be there to just laugh at them. So if he starts running for office, of course Mr. Medeker is going to shit on him. That just seems like his wheelhouse.
It's more intimate than that. It's more than just like guys making videos about each other. It's like there's like a legit beef. I don't want to go into all this because I had to watch an hour and 45 minutes of all this being explained to me. So
I mean, we are being People Magazine right now for you celebs.
I'm seeing
so.
Ethan Ralph tweeting about the breaking news of Sargon, and it is UKIP's Carl Benjamin hit by milkshake in Salisbury in fourth attack this week.
damn.
Someone accosted
See,
Sargon
that's not
with
okay.
a milkshake.
Don't fucking throw
Yeah,
milkshakes
okay.
at a guy just because he's retarded.
I mean, no. It's kind of funny, but it's no.
I
you
don't
shouldn't-
think
you
it's
I
shouldn't
can
just-
accept that.
You don't need to
You're
milkshake
just
that
making
guy.
his case stronger by doing that.
Yeah.
I'm just over here leaning back in my chair, just with the Ratatouille theme playing in my head, with my glass of fine wine, my glass of fine red
It wasn't even
wine.
just one. It was the fourth milkshake.
The
full
fourth
bodied
milkshake.
and reminiscing about how in the Skype calls I would be talking to Gigi's ex-girlfriend Cookie Cutter about Gamergate and I was linking to her talking about the state of video games.
Can we
at
get
the
Cookie
time.
Cutter on the show?
And, yeah,
Great idea.
please. And
Great
how
idea.
I found about 8chan. It was just a
But
glorious time.
you see, guys, I understand. I'm sure Sargon's done many stupid things. I've heard many of them myself, and that's fair. And perhaps I'm the naive one. Perhaps I'm the fool who's just hearing the things I want to hear and discarding all things that are irrelevant. Totally possible. It's just that when I hear things like him, getting shut down monetarily and getting milkshakes thrown at him, and I see his videos, and he's like, not going to stop me. I'm like, that seems like an honorable person.
I mean,
he
that's
just seems like he's,
because
But not gonna stop him from doing what?
Nate, you
from, I
understand
don't know,
that-
trying to lead UK to the independence that he thinks it needs. And I'm like,
it's so-
I don't know, UK. Sure, go for it.
Look, it's so
I'm kind of
fucking
in agreement with
easy
you
to
here, Nate.
spin that shit like not just okay.
But that's true of
people,
all sides.
People are doing that to him, and that sucks. It sucks that people are doing that, but to act like him soldiering on through that is such a bold move. It's like all those things will empower him. They make his position stronger.
But I already agree with his position. So, I mean, it's working out pretty well.
It's like he gets to play the victim now.
And
he
don't give
gets
me
to
any of this
be-
fucking shit, people. I don't agree with every
Well,
position
it's not
he
like
has.
he
Jesus Christ.
arranged this to like, oh, now I'm gonna make sure people hate me so I can
Well,
play the victim, and therefore
I don't even think
What?
I don't even think that. I just think that if people act well, here's my advice to people who don't like Sargon. Don't throw a fucking milkshake at him because you're going to empower the position. Like, you are doing the
True, and
opposite
victimhood is not proof that your argument is correct. I totally accept that.
What specifically do you agree with him about?
I mean, how about the fact that the UK should have the right to determine whether or not it wants to open its borders to immigrants, therefore it should leave the EU so it can control that. Seems reasonable to me.
Sure. I mean, yeah,
that seems to be like the major issue.
I can see the logic.
Yeah, I mean,
that
tell you
seems
right
to
now,
be his entire platform right now, right? Because like Brexit's been dragged out for what, like 3 years now, when it already and people want to have another vote or some
It was
shit.
supposed to happen in March.
Dude, it was supposed to happen several times over by now. I mean, the official, like, actual big dick date was, in March. Now it's in, I believe they pushed it back to November, but that's definitely 100% no fucking way happening. I see it in 2020. If
then, dude.
I see it never. I think they're gonna. I think the goal right now seems to be just wear the people out so the UK stays in the EU.
Yeah, and I mean, that could possibly be the goal for some people.
Dude, you hear people making the case for it every damn day.
By the MPs.
There was some fucking lady debating on I mean, I'm sure this argument is thrown around all the time. That's like, I get the idea that, like, no. The people were gaslighted and misinformed, and therefore the first vote, like, it does not accurately reflect what the British people would have thought. Therefore, we need to either cancel it or try again or something. But see, now we're getting into like the nitpick stuff of like little.
Of course, we have to cancel it and restart it after like 3 years of our own gaslighting and fear mongering from the mainstream media.
I like how literally every election has already functioned that way, but because some people don't like the results of this one, it's suddenly.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's literally how the whole world
the main
is run.
idea
all an election is a battle of propaganda.
At that time and place. And,
well, Brexit's been a constant back and forth between people who really want Brexit and people who really don't, and then just people trying to compromise, but no one can come up with a proper compromise.
Yeah. I mean, there is no compromise. Either you leave the EU or you don't.
And I mean, you had a referendum and leave one.
And if you do like a pussyfoot, like misstep, and instead of going like hard Brexit, World Trade Organization rules, if you just go somewhere in the middle and, this isn't what a lot of people want because it's not hard enough, it's like too soft, but like if you go for like a Norway style and like just give up your seat in the UK, in the EU Parliament just for no reason, just for like, cuz.
Yeah.
That's
it's just
not
insane.
going to appease anyone. That's just going to make everyone mad. So it just seems like, there's going to be no compromise, and so now everyone's getting upset at everyone in power from every angle. Like, even people who want it are mad at people who want it.
Right.
Even people who don't want it are mad at people who don't want it because they don't want it, hard enough.
And has everybody seen the CGP Grey video about how there's literally no way to give every people what they want because of the Ireland divide and how Ireland will...
I mean, depends on who you're asking. I mean, if you ask someone, if you ask a conservative from our conception of conservative, right. From like the north
Tories.
of England, if you ask a hardline Brexiteer is the proper term, I should use that, who's like not in Northern Ireland, they'll say, yeah, just fucking World Trade Organization rules, we're out of that. Any other country. If you ask someone in Northern Ireland, they'll obviously have a different opinion. No one can agree. I foresee great troubles. I mean, if you can't define already, this is great troubles. And I do mean troubles with a capital T there, astute listeners.
Indeed. Well, fuck. I mean, I don't know.
So what have we learned?
I think that we've learned that when any two parties look at a particular object, they most see the characteristics of that object that, for whatever reason, appeal the most to them, for positively or negatively. I mean, and I think Sargon is certainly one.
I
we all
say
are.
In closing, just to be clear, that like, I'm not even gonna say whether I agree or disagree with Sargon's politics. It's more like I don't care and barely even know. I see is a man who makes a meme out of himself all the time, unintentionally, and the face of the man is the dopiest, most vacant, most self-important fucking face. Like, mostly it's his face. That's most of what I have a problem with.
That's
that he just looks like
part.
such a fucking dipshit. He just looks like he thinks that he's the smartest guy in the room everywhere he goes, but
Dude, he would
also
never
has
say
no
that.
idea what's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I would disagree with my conclusions, but I understand how you arrived there.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I've been playing some tabletop games lately.
Yeah.
Hell
Hey, you know
yeah.
who does that? Sargon of Akkad. Let's all go subscribe.
That's not true. Is that true? That
Yeah,
can't
no,
be
he has a
true.
D&D thing he does like
definitely.
weekly.
Really?
How could he not do tabletop games? The man's a fucking turbo nerd.
You know, maybe I underestimated this guy.
Yeah, going back
Could
to
he
D&D.
be the genius that we've waited for?
I've
Yeah.
started my first. Well, I shouldn't say that I've started, but I'm participating in my first D&D campaign.
Your first ever, really?
Yeah,
Tell me
first
about.
ever.
Tell us
Nev-
about that.
ne-
Tell
never
us
done
about
it
that.
before.
Like I said, I've been watching the C-Team. I've been watching the Penny Arcade D&D stuff, and I've been like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
You know, despite our vast, immeasurable differences, Ben, we're not so different. You and I. You know, you were just like me trying to make Destiny.
Yes? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
Anyway, I wish Hippo was here because he's in the D&D campaign.
Wait. Who's playing?
Yeah,
So
good question.
It's me, Hippo, and a few other people from our friend circle outside the PCP, and we're all hanging out. I feel more specific. It is name one.
Munchie, hang on 1 sec. I'm checking my notes. I didn't authorize any friendships outside the PCP with you, so we're gonna need to cut that off.
You know, it's been a long time coming. You know
No,
what? Frankly,
yeah.
okay. You know, sure.
We
that's
gotta
fine.
we gotta get them on the payroll.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fair.
Oh,
As
split
in
the
paying
pay
us, as in paying us for the
more.
right to. They're renting
Yeah.
Munchie out as friend. That is an exclusive PCP right. So they need to check with us. They need to.
All
All right, we'll work on it.
Ben, you will know the DM because it's Sixton, the hip hop hegemon of health and human services.
of course.
Yes. I've seen him on Twitter lately, posting stuff about learning Japanese.
Oh,
Yes,
excellent.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway,
Cool.
we're only a few sessions in.
Ganbare Masho.
It's very hard to
What
do it.
are you playing? What's your character?
I am playing. My character is a Prussian who wants to unify all ethnic Germans under one flag, and not in a racist way, just in a cool way.
That's my boy.
What fucking game are you
not
playing?
in a Hitler way, but in a Bismarck way.
Of course.
What game are you playing exactly?
We're not playing D&D. We're playing a oh god, I don't know what it's fucking called. Fate, I think.
Okay,
I
I've
think
heard
it's
of
called
it.
a Fate.
I've heard of it.
I think
Some
I've heard
shit.
of it.
It's very loose on rules. It's very loose on rules.
Yeah. Wait,
Good,
is that the
as it
one?
should be.
What's that? There's some game. I'm not sure if it's Fate, but there's one where you have to define like everything about your character, including like the circumference of their anus.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
That sounds like Munchie's kind of thing.
Whoa! yeah,
hold on.
guys.
Anal. I'm googling
Circumference.
anal circumference.
Oh, well, good luck on
Well,
that.
I
Okay.
didn't have to define that.
No, That one's called Fatal.
Real
Fatal.
quick. Obviously, the center of your anus is always going to be a zero circumference. Is this like the brown hole around
I
it?
think-
that
Well,
you're
I don't
missing?
know about that.
It's how far it can
actually. I've
stretch.
seen
It's
some
how far it
assholes
can
that are
stretch.
pretty
Oh,
wide
okay,
in
okay,
diameter,
that makes
like
sense.
circles.
We're talking about maximum circumference.
Right, of course.
Before you.
God,
before
why
you
did we
have
waste
to
all the
start
time
ro-
on Sargon? We could have talked about this the whole
I
time.
Yeah.
What were we
Talk
doing?
about assholes.
So-
I think the topics are one and the same.
Quote from Darren McLennan. So basically, Fatal is the date rape RPG. Okay,
Sign me
so
up.
but that's not what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, I wish it was.
Yeah.
You know what? Oh, guys, PCP D&D campaign. By D&D, I mean a Fatal campaign. I think that's
Sounds like a plan
I
to
think
me.
it's in the
I
near
guess I'm
future.
in. What's Hippo playing?
Hippo is playing a crippled boy, a crippled lad, who is on top of a aged Boston Dynamics robot, and the Boston Dynamics robot carries him around.
Awesome.
That's cool. I like
Yeah.
it.
awesome. Well, tell us about it.
I don't know if you want me to get into the raw fucking details or anything.
Yeah, a little
Maybe
bit.
an overview. Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Well, Sixton's whipped up this again, not a very serious endeavor because I don't think anyone wants to do that, especially me. I can't imagine a worse fate than tuning in for 2 hours to fucking hardcore roleplay for realsies.
Yeah.
Even though Honestly, that was my opinion before. I'm starting to get a little bit more into it now that I have a firmer understanding of how things work. But nevertheless, it is Sixten is obviously a Swedish boy who he's whipped up a Scandinavian escapade. There isn't really a clear plot right now, but we're just hanging out and trying to get our bearings straight and our sea legs. Because I've never done this before. I think that no one else has done it before either, besides Sixten, who has DM'd before.
It's fun. I want to play.
Is it fantasy? Like, is there magic? Are there monsters?
Yes. I describe it as like imagine it takes place in one of those post-apocalypse, which just means that people have reverted back to medieval times, but there's an excuse to have technology in it.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So we're in sort of a Middle Ages runic setting, you know, like Scandinavia.
Sounds pretty sick.
So there's bards, there's magic, but there's also obviously Boston Dynamics robots, and I have a pickle hop because of course I do.
Indeed.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Why else would you play a Prussian for any reason?
Yeah, literally, unironically.
So
what's interesting about it to me is that it's sort of very weird experience, because I am very sort of weirdly far removed from role playing. Obviously, legendarily, mythically, my old Pokemon role plays are known throughout the land, and I used to role play very heavily in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon fandom. But that was many years ago and very different than a live action D&D. I'm just gonna say D&D when I mean
that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never done a D&D thing like that. And it's weird that all my conventions or ideas of how to create a good story sort of don't apply, and when I try and do them, they're working against what it's meant to be. And that's just
what do you mean?
What I mean by that is that when you are presented with a scenario in a by the DM, and you have to work through a problem, be it through diplomacy or with force, it's not really, it's instead of saying to yourself as a writer, time to write an interesting exchange between two people, between two characters, which I am crafting with my own hand, and I'm the deciding factor. It is, I have to pretend to be someone else and work for my own advantage, or the character's advantage, rather. So instead of, I mean, obviously, it's not like they are completely separate things, but instead of, writing arcs that I can very clearly define, because I am in control of the scenario, I am at the whim of the DM, and I am at the whim of wanting the best for myself. So obviously, while characters may want the best for themselves in fictional scenarios, it's not so clear as in I have to make the decision which will further my own goals. And I have almost paradoxically, because I have more agency, I have less. Because I can't affect the game world, I can only affect my actions within it. So I'm always going to be looking for positive scenarios for my character, which is not actually maybe the most interesting things that could happen. I'm never going to put myself in bad scenarios, or at least I'm not a highbrow game player enough to do that yet.
If it's what your character would do,
well, sure,
then...
but if it's not what the character would do, then I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
but I mean,
exactly.
The most interesting scenarios are when there's conflict.
That's true. Yeah.
So, I'm not a these are sort of first impressions. I don't know if what I said have made any sense, since I'm still trying to work out the terminology in my mind.
To me it's like, okay, you got your character, you got his motivations, you got your stats, you got your dice. You walk yourself into a conflict, and then it's you decide what would my character do if there's a conflict there. You roll the dice, you pick what stat you're using, you pick what equipment you're using, and here's how I'm handling this. And one of the thing about the C team that I've been watching is Tycho, the DM, he's always asking, it never ends with this is what my character does. My character uses this spell. My character, uses this skill. He always asks like, okay, tell me what that looks like. Like it's like, okay, I'm using intimidate. Like maybe Rosie like tries to intimidate someone, and he's like, okay, but what does that look like? And she's like, well, I think Rosie would attune herself to the plane of shadows, and she would like, I don't know, maybe she would make like an extra planar shadow like loom up behind her to like, make herself look bigger or something. And like, I don't know, like there's like specific like what, it's like the dice and stuff are sort of like a prompt. They're sort of like a storytelling prompt. Yeah, and you can decide what things look like and decide how things progress, but like within this boundary.
It sounds like a really good way of DMing.
Yeah. Like for example, like when he like when the warlock, when Cthulhu like summons a demon, it's not just, oh, okay, I pick this demon and like, I make this circle and the demon shows up and I roll to command it and stuff. That's just the beginning, because like the demon will show up and then they'll roleplay like a conversation with the demon, where like the demon will introduce himself and like he'll tell you his name and stuff, and then they'll be like they'll like discuss like, what am I here on this plane to achieve, and like why like what will you pay me, like what will you give me in exchange for my services and stuff like that. It's a very, he digs in, he really digs in.
It sounds like a lot of fucking work to me, frankly.
Well, it's storytelling, it's role playing.
I think that D&D just falls into the same, I don't want to say problems because that implies negatives, but just like hurdles that normal things don't, because it's a game, is a role-playing game in which, it's almost inherently about empowerment to make it feel satisfying to you, the player, who is engaging with it as a player. So it's almost inherently supposed to be, again, I keep coming back to this idea that it's supposed to be positive for you, where a lot of the most interesting stories to me are things in which characters fail or do not accomplish their task, or they are flawed in some way, which I guess could apply to the D&D characters. And obviously it's, again, I don't want to imply that they are so radically different writing a good character or being a good player, but it's just a difference in perspective that makes it subtly different in ways that I do think have somewhat massive implications, when again you are not in control of the scenario and you just have to be empowered to make decisions in which may not be the most interesting narratively, but just make the most sense for the game at that present.
It sounds interval. To me like you are grappling with the age-old conflict of role playing versus role playing, ROLE versus ROLL. Is that? Do I have the right of it?
I don't. Explain farther.
Like there's the aspect of the game that is about storytelling and playing a character, and then there's the aspect that is about seeing numbers go up.
Right.
Well,
I mean, the most difficult thing about playing D&D is when you have a group that's just interested in rolling dice and swinging swords, because you can just go play a video game if you want to just do combat.
That's how I see it.
That's
I'm like,
me, my dudes.
When I play D&D, I barely even look at like my numbers or my ability. Like I'm not even interested.
The greatest
that part is just sort of incidental.
D&D's greatest strength is that you can do anything. The DM allows, because you can say you want to do whatever you want, as long as the DM allow you to make a check for it. You're not bound by a preset amount of mechanics like a video game or something. Like anything you can think of, you can do, and that's what really makes it interesting. And so. A lot of the times I've played with people who are just like, I'm just going to roll my dice and swing my sword. I'm a fighter. I'm just like, oh, this is a slog. You got to play with it. Like the best group I ever played with was early last year. It was me and a couple buddies. And we were all just like really having fun with it. And just like the DM was one of my friends. He's really lax about things, just to like have everything be fun. Like my character was like a half orc Way the Drunken Fist guy, so I would like have to drink whenever I would need to use like drinking stuff, so I'd be drunk halfway through the campaign. Then my friend was a bard and he brought his guitar and he'd just sing all the time, just make up stupid songs the whole time we were playing. And it was the best time ever.
But you also have to have like a good DM for those sort of things, because if the DM himself or herself, they are interested in just rolling dice and swinging swords, then you can't really have fun in that sort of way.
If you're interested in rolling dice and swinging swords, you probably shouldn't be DMing, because like you have to add all the flavor that binds everything together.
Did I tell you guys
Fate
about?
Is extremely like numbers light. There are very few instances where
really?
like our stats matter. Well,
I like that.
That's
my kind of game.
It's not as though you don't roll dice or anything like that. And I will say my least favorite part of this experience so far is rolling the dice, because it just feels like it's random self-control in a situation where it's like, I know to not use like my finishing move or something to that effect in opportune moments, so it wouldn't be narratively satisfying. By the way, my finishing move is I can split things in half, and only in half 50%, and I can do this to things like all things. So I can split like people in half, but I can also split like atoms in half
and cause a nuclear explosion.
Oh my god.
But anyway, I know to not use that all the time, or else it would just be boring. But rolls are just like when I want to do something that seems like it shouldn't really be an issue, like just attacking someone. You know, now it's just like, oh, I have a chance to not do it, and I just don't do it for some reason.
Well,
and now the DM has to come up with like a weird reason why I just now suddenly don't for some reason.
It's your skill at attacking versus their skill at avoiding your blow. That's you know, there's a conflict there. There's two individuals each trying to achieve something different.
It's not skill based. It's chance based is what is the problem.
I mean, it ultimately comes down to that in the
It is chance based, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's always been my biggest issue with D&D is that like there's so many times where you can just get terrible RNG. Like that was like the biggest problem with that character I was talking about, Thrax, the half-orc drunk man. He would just constantly miss, even though his punches could like destroy anything. And like the gimmick was just like he's so drunk he can't hit anything, I guess, because like my dice rolls always suck.
Dude,
I've sounded somewhat negative here, and I don't mean to be.
Hold on.
It's more
I
just
say that reminds me of in Morrowind, in Elder Scrolls Morrowind, it does a random number generator every time you attack. So you can literally see your spear go into an enemy and see the word miss pop up above their head. And I
D&D's
remember
a little better
like
at that.
the first when I tried to play that game, all I did was like I was in the starting village. I just like walked out of it, tried to attack a monster, missed like 12 times in a row, and stopped playing the game forever.
That's
understandable.
That's RPGs.
Yeah.
Well,
it shouldn't be. I mean, like in an action RPG, I feel like the whole point is that that abstraction isn't there.
That's true.
It
I agree completely.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. I get it.
In
get
D&D, it's not that way, because like really, you don't see what's happening. What's happening if you're fighting like an armored guy and you fail to overcome his what's the AC stand for? What's
Armor
the
class?
Armor class,
right? Like you just chink, you're off his armor, which makes sense. He's got fucking armor on. Your sword bounces off it, or he's a speedy
he's
fuck.
a dodger. He dodges your blow, or there's a magical repulsion or something. You know.
So it feels unsatisfying, but really, it actually is perfectly reasonable.
It makes sense within the logic of the world, but it robs you. The problem is that the dice tend to rob you from agency in a game that's biggest strength is that you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, agreed, Tom. That's a good way to put it.
Well, I mean, I think the idea is that, like, you know, as your character advances and your numbers do go up, you become more empowered to like make the things that you want to see happen.
Well, of course,
you know, as you gain more spells and as you get better at doing things in general. You know, I guess it's a whole like it wouldn't be meaningful that you can overcome a foe if you didn't have to work up to it. If like in a previous version of yourself would have failed at accomplishing.
I think the only I mean I totally get it, and I still love D&D on the whole. That's why I made a whole video about how it's the greatest thing. But the only issue is like if you were playing a video game, like if you were playing Final Fantasy VII and like at level 1 through 10 you have like a 50% miss rate, like you'd want to kill yourself. And like D&D tends to have like a 30 to 50% miss rate, especially at low levels.
That's true.
Because
that's true.
You know, you got to hit like 15 or something, and if you're only getting like a +4 bonus at starting out, like that leaves a lot of space for you to just fuck up.
This is unrelated to my experience because there are no levels, and I don't know how that works in normal D&D. But I probably coming across as like negative or like I'm not enjoying the experience, but au contraire, my friend, I'm quite enjoying it. It's just it gets my brain percolating because it's again something that I have not experienced in a really long time. this idea of having to like work with other people to achieve a narrative, because obviously I have given my character faults, and I've given I have a general idea of how I would like an arc to go for said character, but now I have to work that into what Sixten wants as DM and what the other players do in the game and what situation we find ourselves in. And I feel, again, it's a weird paradox where I have agency in the sense that I am controlling something, but I have such a limited agency and that I am at the whim of the DM and the other players in a lot of circumstances. And the dice, where I would want to maybe finish off a character or a fight in some way which would be relevant to my character's arc, but I simply cannot because I can't get a good roll. Right. And then I remember the first altercation where, I mean, this isn't a problem or anything, but just this is a good sense I have for how the game will go, where it's like I had a specific way in which I wanted to finish off the first boss that we encountered that would be relevant to the character's arc, but obviously everyone else does too. Because everyone else is their own character, and everyone else has wanted this to be relevant to because they are the protagonist, they are the player. So when the turns went, and I was like the person right before me got the kill, and did it in a spectacularly glorious way. It was like, shit, I have to be like better, and by better I mean luckier, I guess. It's an interesting scenario. I'm enjoying it. I wish Hippo was here. He is a part of it after all.
I want to. Maybe next week we can hear his thoughts.
Sure.
You guys can
his scathing
review.
Hash
it out.
My thoughts may seem negative, but they're merely contemplative. They're merely contemplative on the philosophical quandaries I have while playing D&D.
Contemplative. That
Ben,
word
after
should be
the
pronounced.
Show, if you're interested, there's obviously way more details that I'm sparing the audience for because I'm sure it'll be really boring. But if you're interested, we can wrap about it.
I want to say I've been playing a game. Sure. I've been playing a game with some friends, being DM'd by a friend of mine. It's called Dogs in the Vineyard.
Ooh.
And you play and you play as a dog of the faith. And the faith is you are basically a combination. I said this before, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but the audience didn't hear it yet. You are a combination mailman / missionary / detective / like lethal enforcer
/ Pizza Hut / Taco Bell.
For a fictional version in like a fictionalized United States of like the Mormon church.
Okay.
Oh, in Deseret.
What?
A Deseret is the proposed Mormon superstate. If you don't know what it is, obviously it does not take place there.
I haven't heard that term, so no. But this is like an alternate. There's a couple of things that are different, that went different in like the history of China. There was some kind of like holy rebellion in China that succeeded in this world that didn't in the real world.
Okay.
There's more to it.
There's still time,
but,
China. Get to it.
And you have a big coat. You have like a custom coat because this is like a part of your mark of office. Like the people in your community.
So you're not a literal dog, are you?
No.
Okay.
Dog is your title.
Gotcha.
And you are a guy. You are fucking going around. You're like a holy warrior for Mormonism. And
sick.
my character is Charlie Yang.
Sounds Chinese.
He is Chinese. Mm-hmm. He is the son of immigrant railroad workers, but he is deeply resentful of his past. He just wants to assimilate. He just wants to fit in. He resents his parents for being workers. He resents them for being Chinese. He resents white people for seeing him as different.
Okay.
He's a very resentful, conflicted guy. But he has a cool coat with a dragon on it.
Well, fantastic. Is this like a battle series?
Well, there is fight. Like, we came to this town the DM sent us to this town they were tithing too much, and we suspected that something was wrong there. And it turns out that, they were overworking there's strict strictures in the Book of Enoch, laying out like workers need they shouldn't work too many hours in a week. They need at least one day off a week.
Sure.
And they were not observing these things.
Those bastards.
Turned out there was a cult going on, and there was like some demonic possessions. We had to baptize a baby that had a demon in it. We had to name the baby. We had to fucking kill a few guys. They were doing some demon shit, and that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
I try so hard. I'm playing my guy as like a complete conciliator who tries to avoid conflict at all times. He just wants to save souls. He doesn't pull his gun out unless things got really bad. There was a shootout. People were shooting at us from the windows. I had to lasso a guy out a window.
Oh, shit.
It was pretty all right. There were hatchets were thrown. Hatchets were embedded in skulls. But you know what? It's all for the King of Life. Praise him.
Is that the Mormon god or whatever?
Yes, in this world, he's called the King of Life.
Okay, sick.
I have. There's at one time I was like, I think I was trying to like exercise a house or something, and I had to improv like a passage from like the holy book or something, and I just came up with something on the spot. That's the kind of stuff I like.
Yeah, that's
like,
cool.
Like what would you say? Like what's a thing? What kind of thing would happen in this scenario?
Blessed be the man who layeth his wife upon a green grass only twice in the full moon and not 3 times, for that would be too much for her, womb. Right.
Something.
Yeah.
Something like this. I made up a little parable about like a holy man coming on like a rich community with like they favored like the local authorities. They favored like earthly authority over the King of Life. And they were and they got rich off of that, but God smote them because they had their fucking priorities all mixed up.
Yeah, okay.
He smote them. Oh, he smote them all right.
Demons are real, so I guess God is definitely real.
Oh, I should think so.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even question it.
Sounds fair to me.
It's a really weird system. Like there's not like attack and defense. You basically just take turns doing shit, and like attack and defense are all like rolled into one thing, and there's just like huge dice pools, and like every turn it's like you choose you roll your initial dice, and then the next turn it's like, well, I have a trait where it's like I went to school. My character has a trait that's like, I went to engineering school so I could run railroads instead of build them like my parents did. So like, if there's like an engineering scenario, I'll be, I'll bring that trait in, add some more dice. Next turn, someone shoots at me. Oh, well, I pull my gun out and shoot back at him. Now I bring my gun's dice into it.
I'm like, just imagining if the dice pool grows, like you get to like a giant, like there's a Dark Souls style giant lever. You need a full body like pull, which opens the door to like a gigantic vat full of dice that all begin rolling all at once.
That's the dream.
That is the dream. So many weapons.
You gotta unlock. You gotta turn the key.
Oh shit! That's what it was like when they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. For every individual person, they had to take individual damage. You know how it was. Or Dresden, whatever. It's all good.
The bomb starts dropping, and like the emperor
and the dice start
it's
rolling.
Like, everyone, roll initiative.
Oh shit!
Raghunt 4 D&D campaign, dude.
Maybe.
Hey,
RFCK D&D campaign, dude.
Munchie, yeah? Remember Mice, the convention?
Of
remember
course,
we were thinking about. Okay, well, it's been less than a month since the like table applications are open, and they're already closed.
Oh well.
What?
I checked a little while. Yeah, like I didn't think they'd be gone instantly. They opened up in April, and now it's May, and yeah, according to the website, they're no longer taking applications.
Well,
so I'm very.
what were you waiting for? Did you want to be in?
Yeah. Me and Kazi talked about getting a table together, and I haven't talked to her about it, but I kind of thought you were maybe going to join in on this since you're like moving here.
No. Well, I mean, to get a table there, I mean, I'm not a comics artist, so why would I?
No? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I should tell
Rest
her.
in peace, investigator.
We fucked up.
Impressive.
And that's all fucked now. And I
Well,
feel terrible
life.
about it. It is life, and it's all my fault.
You'll just know for next year, I guess. I don't know if you want to. There's more conventions.
I guess this one was really good, and Casey Green was there, and Abby Howard was there, and I wanted to be on the other side. I didn't want to go there as a fucking consumer, as a fucking sheep there to spend money.
You gotta
on
get over
crap.
your complex, dude.
I didn't. It's terrible.
I don't blame
him.
I feel the same way. I too am a man filled with pride that is unwarranted, but
I'm literally not even going. Like I'm not even going.
Oh,
you just
It was awful. It was awful going there as a
No, you just got to
fair.
take after Munch. You got to go up to Casey Green and ask him about the Smurfs 2 movie. And that's how you get
exactly.
He'll let you on his podcast eventually.
Send him some pickup lines on his Tumblr for like 3 months before the convention.
It's not impossible. We were just talking about how fucking celebrities aren't as mysterious as they may seem, just fucking
That's
talk
true.
to people.
Just think at the end of the day, he's just like Sargon of Akkad, just a regular person.
Okay, here's what you do. You go to conventions and you see about how no one pays attention to you, and then you go to fucking whatever, the round table, and you're like, I just won't tell anyone that I'm a comics artist. I just won't let them know about my many feats.
By my very presence.
Yeah. You gotta be more.
way too much credit.
You can't be so fucking sad that you aren't telling anyone about how great you are. Just let them know.
If you had a bad
I'm not
time,
sad. I'm just. Also, I won't be going to that for a while because I broke my toe yesterday.
oh
Really?
no, how'd
Dude,
you do that?
again? This is a pattern
yeah, the
with you.
same toe.
Oh no,
I just
What? Same
stubbed it.
toe?
Yeah, I just stubbed it really hard into a door as I was walking through, and I
Jesus
instantly was
Christ,
like, "That's
dude.
definitely
Mistake
broken."
after mistake.
Ben, I would
Yeah.
highly recommend just tilting your field of view like 5 degrees lower at all times.
Do you wear
Just
slippers?
Look lower.
No, I
I
don't wear
think you
slippers. It's too hot. It's too hot to wear
Okay.
slippers.
it is getting warm out.
Okay, I
Need some
cannot
steel toe
resonate with
boots.
what just has happened at all. So you were walking so fucking hard into your door that you stubbed
I
it?
was just walking at a normal. I went to my door. I opened the door. I kind of simultaneously was opening the door as I was taking a step with my foot, like to walk through it, and the foot and the door just collided in the cross section.
But it
with enough
broke
force.
your toe?
You going to the doctor or anything? Did you already go?
Munchie,
Or
remember
something?
last
No,
time he broke it
I'm
just
not
by like
going-
walking into a room and
I mean, he was running.
I
at
don't
the
remember
time.
last time because I wasn't there when that happened.
I'm feeling
Oh, you weren't?
discomfort.
I was
really?
I was
Fine.
moving at a
Yeah.
slightly faster than walk. No, I'm not going to the doctor because every time I've broken my toe, I've just gone to the doctor. They've just been like, "Well, you can tape it."
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And I'm just like, I can still walk.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts a little bit, and I'm trying not to walk too much, but like, I can still walk. I'm not like crippled. I don't know. It probably in like a week or two, I won't even feel it anymore, and it'll be like it didn't even happen.
Well, all right.
Well,
Best of
I'm
luck.
glad that the one PCP member that has an issue related to their feet and legs is gonna be, healed up real soon. Good job, Ben. Good job.
Yep. Don't worry, everyone. I'm fine. You know what? Everything's great.
Guys,
for old
can we
Ben.
all just give a round of applause for our state of physical health?
I feel good.
I'm brave. It's true.
Hey,
I'm a brave boy.
we were talking before. I have one thing I wanted to bring up. We spoke briefly about access journalism, kind of, not really.
Huh?
I don't know. I've never heard that phrase. before
Well,
in my
that
life.
is a phrase. I'm joking.
Am I
What we
in
were
hell?
talking about.
I just woke up. Where am I?
like talking to celebrities or whatever. Okay, well, here's my point.
Sure,
Here's my
sure.
point. So I just hit 100,000 subs, and that's cool.
Boo.
And so
Congratulations.
now that I did that, yes, thank you.
Now it's time to have a pro Jared style fallout.
Oh my
You
God.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cheat
drop
on
that
the
guy
PCP with the Pizza Party podcast.
I've been here since 100,000 subs. Can't wait for 90,000. Can't wait for 80,000. Looking forward to it. I'm
life cycle.
what was I fucking saying? Oh, right. Okay, so I was talking to the Gaming Brit the other day, just in passing, and I was like, he was like, hey, congrats. He's like, you getting your silver play button? I was like, I don't. I've been waiting for there's supposed to be like a prompt for that or something in like the thing. I don't know what to do. He's like, why don't you just message like support? I was like, wait, you can do that? He was like, yeah, just like Google, fucking support, and this is what he had to do to get his or something, and they'll hook you up. And so I was like, oh, okay. Now apparently, this
Let
is
me
a
know if this
support-
works, because if it does, it's been fucking 4 years and that prompt never came.
Did you ever, because I have done this now. So first of all, I am now verified on Twitter, not Twitter, on YouTube, because I reached out to the people on this help thing, and there was a lady, I think this is only available once you have 100,000 subs, I think is literally the cutoff point.
Pass system on YouTube.
But once you have it, I just reached out and I just sent a message. I was like, hey, I'm Best Carry, this is my channel. Like, I've got 2 issues. 1, I was hoping I could get verified. Let me know what I have to do for that. And 2,
dude, you got that check mark?
look
Blue.
right now in the fucking thing.
It's a gray check mark.
It's a
I
gray
didn't say
check
blue.
mark.
I know it's not blue on YouTube.
Look in
Still,
the
it's
gross
check
discussing
mark.
audio links. There it is. There's my check mark.
Interesting.
So
Amazing.
that doesn't mean anything other than that
Well,
I'm
Nate,
like the
Nate,
real me,
like
I guess.
Sargon says all the time, you're now a shill, and I can't trust you anymore.
That's on
You got a
Twitter.
check
It's
mark.
very different on Twitter versus YouTube. It's a very different situation.
Yeah.
When I've actually tried
Culturally.
to get verified on Twitter, and I just found out they are not accepting applications for Twitter verification. So I don't think there is even a path anymore to Twitter verification of any kind.
God, What's young Venus gonna do?
I know.
I don't know who
He
that
never
is.
did it.
His
Oh
dream.
God.
Oh.
His dream has been shattered.
Oh, no one tell
I think
him.
what you
no
need
one
to
So
tell
he
do-
him.
still hasn't verified Satan and
There's still a path. You just become a journalist for some like big old world publication is what you do, and I think you will get verified. I just don't think there's like a process for the average person to get there anyway. Okay, but on the subject of the silver play button, so Digi, tell me if you've ever gotten this, because like she said, like I was talking to this lady and I'm like, hey, help me, verify, and then silver play button. She's like, oh yeah, no problem. Like I'll send you an email in a little bit. What she sent me is an email with a voucher code and a link to like go here, put in this voucher code. It prompts a window. It says like type of your name, or it said best ever. You can change it. I just left it best ever, and boom, hit OK. We're now currently processing your silver play button order. It will be there in like a couple weeks or whatever. So I think it's done. It's on its way.
I think I need to go scour my, because the email that
I will
channel
help you,
is
dude. The
actually
same way
based
Britt
on,
helped me.
I've only checked it like twice ever, which is when my channel got taken down, to figure out why and what to do about it. So it could possibly be buried in my email somewhere ages ago.
I'll show you exactly what was sent to me. But even beyond that, I will give you exactly what fucking notification thing I found. And I just messaged her and said, hey, I want a thing. They're like, no problem. We'll do immediately. Done.
Yeah, I mean,
and,
I've heard it takes a long time for it to actually process as well. So
that very well may be the case. But like, it is underway now. It wasn't before, and now it is. So I'm feeling pretty chuffed about that. So yeah. And the point I wanted to make about that was like, okay, that's all well and good, but like, months ago, my boy, Lobster Boy, Tirar A. Dueo, ASMR guy, it's just that he reached 100,000 subs like a while ago. He's at like 125,000 or whatever, and like he made a video or whatever, and just said that like once he hit 100,000, life was just so much better. Like they were so nice and they were so helpful in like the chat thing. And this is the thing is, I never even once attempted to reach out to YouTube before I hit 100,000 subs, so I have no basis for comparison. But based on my experience now, it's basically been great. It's been super great.
It's like an unwritten thing, but I think everybody understands that when you hit 100K, you are just treated in some way differently by the system. And like generally when people hit 100K, the next couple 10,000 subs
come pretty quick,
way
right?
easier. Yeah.
Yeah. That always seems to happen. And that's certainly my
there's
plan.
like tiers of YouTube, obviously. 100K is one.
Just...
When you hit 1 million, you go like super fucking pro, and then like you're a god.
Is that just from people that see that number and think
I think it changes the way that the system treats you entirely, because it's where they take you seriously as a YouTuber, basically.
Right, I have to because you're actually making them decent money.
I am busting for a shit, so nobody address me for the next few minutes.
Okay, you got it, dog. And the only other thing about that is, I think Digi said it's like implicit, it's like not specified. I think it is in fact 100% articulated, at least parts of it, that you just, at the very least, you just don't have access to the support staff until you hit 100,000 subs. And once you do, then you do. Then they will talk to you. It's just
I am games to hit 100,000 so I can just like talk to somebody in real life and just shit on them. Be like, I fucking hate your company so much. It's great that I can finally talk to someone about it.
The only problem is you're just dealing with outsourced IT people who, they're not making any decisions at all.
It's the closest thing I'm ever going to get to what Jiski yourself, so I'll take what I can get at that point.
I guess. But, honestly, I was listening to Digi's podcast, the Whirling Dervish podcast the other day, and I so resonated with his attitude. Too bad he's not here to hear this praise, but it was just people who have issues with YouTube. It's just like, adapt and overcome. Every job has issues. The particular ones on YouTube
Of course you have to adapt or overcome. That doesn't mean you have to be happy about it.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair, I suppose.
I am sure this was discussed on the last episode, since it's obviously the talk of the town, at least in my closed-off cave-like home, and never leaving the town. I assume that is the talk of the town. Mimaf 2, still ongoing. You were working on it just before the show, in fact.
Oh, that's true. I had just finished filming, and we'll finish
You've only got like 11 more videos to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
At the time of recording.
The worst of it is over now, at least
it's downhill for sure. It's downhill for sure.
So now, looking back, I'm on your channel right now, and the most viewed, which I don't know if that's the measure of success here, but if that is, then the best video is Weaponized Thickness Anatomy of a Meme.
That is number one. It's true.
Close behind, well, not close behind it, but just relatively big videos are, the Final Fantasy VII video, the Hockey Rant, and the Fairy Tale is Still Dead video.
Now, that Fairy Tale one's only been out for 3 days, but I think that will be cemented as either number one in time or number two beyond the Weaponized Thickness one.
So,
which, by the way, that Weaponized Thick, I think it only stands on the fact that, once again, I just put Galco in the thumbnail. I'm pretty sure that's like 99% of why anyone cares. And I guess the meme is known to some people, so I suppose, but...
Now, obviously,
She's a 10
you
out
would
of
know
10.
better than anyone. I want to know, currently, how this meme math of specifically success-wise compares to the first one. I have no reference point for these numbers here. I have no reference for if 10K being the standard or the high to low teens being the standard view rate. Is that normal? Is that good? Is that fine? Is that great? Or is that bad?
Compared to my the generally released videos I do, like 10K for a video is quite low. But the thing is, these are made very fast, and 10K in one day to then produce the next day a 10K video, and so on is, it's for my channel and for my track record is great. This will absolutely be like a huge spike in both viewership and, AdSense earnings and stuff, just for all the actual views that I'm accumulating just from all the fucking videos. The cost I'm paying, however, is almost, not to mention many videos, like the thickness, some are like 20K, 30K, etc. But the cost I am paying is absolutely, I am losing subs. I am 100% losing subs as a result of this. But, however, the funny thing is, now we'll get to comparing it to the original Mia Mathova, is just that, I think that, so right before this started, on day 0 when I announced I'm going to be doing YouTube full-time, Mia Mathova 2, go, I got 1,500 subs or something, and so a lot of those was because Mumkey shouted me out on Twitter, and a couple other people too. I can't remember everybody. And that gave me a huge spike in subs for that day, but then I've definitely been losing some, and it's hard to know if it's those people who were just only there, because they were told to be, which frankly I don't even want. I don't even, I'm happy to have people's, pity subs or whatever, but ultimately it's basically worthless currency, in my humble opinion. So I want much more organic accrual of views or whatever. But anyway, point being that it's hard to tell if this loss is just those exact same people being like, nah, whatever, or if it's legitimately followers who've been accrued over time who are saying to themselves, yeah, I've seen enough here. He's really spamming me. I'll come back after Mia Mathova. Now, in either case, I am not at all upset about, I'm losing maybe 30 to 40 subs a day, maybe 50 sometimes. And I don't even think that if that rate continues, I'll be below 100,000 by the end of Mia Mathova. I think I'll be A-okay. But in the question of is it worth it? 100%. Subs only exist to facilitate viewership anyway. So frankly, the only thing I'm feeling is I feel a bit of an ego attachment to being over 100,000, and dipping back below would be a somewhat of a blow to my ego. But then, you obviously can't operate with that as your primary motivation. So, fuck it. I've already committed.
If you're losing 30 a day, you would have to go, that would be
maybe more like
20
50
more
to be a little harsher. I could dip back under at the end. It's possible.
Ooh, no.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, but that doesn't really matter. The net gain far, far outstrips the net loss. And again, this is only going on for 12 more days, and then it's over. So, whatever, man.
Is this Mia Mathova easier or harder than the last one?
Well, it is harder in some ways and easier in others. So I'm working more than half time, but I don't know. I'm working a little bit less at my day job, but the thing is, I now have a dog and a girlfriend who both live with me, and that reality of driving her to work and doing a bunch of other stuff does take up some amount of time. So
who, the dog?
Well, I gotta walk him every once in a while and shit, so it to be distracted. The other Mia Mathova was a pure just me, do shit, no distractions, nothing else matters. But I'm not in that exact same position now, so I've got no choice but to kind of do things every once in a while. Now, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I've got a little extra time.
Just slid out a darker, browner version of the exact Popeyes 4-piece I ate yesterday.
It's
Fascinating. Much spicier on the other end than it was going into the mouth.
Great.
You are
How
a
interesting.
criminal.
How interesting. Okay, finishing my point, because I've been talking
Popeyes
about this
also
too long.
sucks, by the way.
They're not great. They're not great. I went to Red Lobster. No, not Red. Yeah, I went to Red Lobster the other day. I was looking for Ninky Majaj. She wasn't there, but it was great. It was delicious.
Red Lobster sucks. It wants you to think that it's not
Cheddar
Applebee's, but it just
biscuits,
is
Munchie.
Applebee's.
Cheddar biscuits.
Man, fucking get that shit in
If
a
you're going to a
fucking
restaurant
box
for
at
cheddar
Vons.
biscuits, it's not a good restaurant.
Well, what people go to Olive Garden for the breadsticks.
Exactly.
I mean, I do.
Case in fucking point.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. I'm not a highbrow man.
Me and my friend Lorenz. Me and my friend Lorenz, the guy who is running the Dogs in the
Also,
Vineyard
wait, fuck
campaign.
you, Munchie. I took my parents out when they visited to the nicest restaurant in Cincinnati when they were here. So you don't know. You've never even seen.
I want my
You have
fucking
never
Good Boy
seen
Points
the
with
kind of
the Red
quality
Lobster. Oh,
that
I
I
want to go
took
to
them
Chuck E.
to.
Cheese and get the fucking gummies for 3,000 points. Oh, I'm not
Munchie,
a highbrow.
at
I
this
just
fucking
like
restaurant,
what I like.
you order your entree, entree 2 and entree 3 and dessert and salad at the beginning of the thing. It's a whole
More is better.
Your pea brain cannot imagine the level of cuisine I have obtained in
Nate,
my life now.
But
what about the service?
I can imagine it. 'Cause Nate
Incredible,
also
man.
took me
Incredible.
to that restaurant
I
because he
see.
was trying to court me, I think.
Oh, actually, Digi, the Precinct is one of the top restaurants in the city. That is not the top restaurant where I took my family later. That was my first thought. But we went one step above to this place called what's it called? It's like the Lotus.
I can't
It's
even
in
imagine
the
a step
hotel.
above because that was the nicest restaurant I've ever eaten at.
I know, but I found a way to go even further beyond Super Saiyan 3 style, and it's incredible.
Was the food, was like an entree over $100 for just like the one item?
The meal was many hundreds of dollars for 4 of us. It was, yeah.
Not last New Year's, but the years before that. I went out to a fancy steakhouse with Kazi, and I basically just was like unprepared for like what fancy restaurants actually entailed.
Yeah,
because obviously I looked
crazy.
at the menu and I saw the price and I thought, okay, this will be a lot of money, but that's okay because it's a special occasion. And so we go out, but I don't realize that like you are like forced to buy like an entree and then another entree and then an appetizer, and like you are forced to buy all this other stuff.
Kinda,
because
yeah.
the seats are so expensive that they are losing money if you don't buy all of them. So it
True,
was
true.
like literally. I'm not saying that like you were forced to it was incentivized to. I mean like literally they said unless you buy all these things you can't sit here.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Because it's New Year's.
That's not how
and
the one
we
me
were-
and Nate went to worked.
No, they're a little more cash at that place, the Precinct.
Well. Anyway, in any case, that's how it was there. So we finagled a situation where we would sit at the bar and just pretend that we're 21, and then get an entree there and only the
Yeah.
entree. So the entree was expensive, but it was worth it. But if we had been normal, then it would have been like quadruple as much to get all the extra bullshit. So
Fair enough.
It's a scary
Fair enough.
life. It's a scary life out there, dining.
All right. This is all heresy. Me and Lorenz, as I was starting to say before, we have pooled our expertise. We are starting a keto cooking collaboration. Our next
Oh, sorry,
project,
Ben. I just want to say the restaurant, Orchids at Palm Court Reservations. Orchids at Palm Court. Okay, sorry. It's the best place. Look it
Keto
up.
donuts, all different flavors. We're gonna make them fruit flavor. We're gonna make cinnamon. We're gonna make them vanilla. We're gonna make them chocolate. We're gonna go fucking nuts. We're gonna fry them. It's a miracle. We are collecting all our ingredients.
Good.
We are collecting all the necessary objects required for this endeavor, and I am so excited.
Again, Ben, different philosophy at the beginning and different execution, but the end result of both of our lives are also delicious meals currently. And I'm very enamored with what you're doing currently. And I would love you to say
Ben,
as much excruciating detail about these donuts as you could possibly.
what are the ingredients for a keto donut?
Okay, well, there's a big ideological divide Lorenz is convinced that we need to go the almond flour route, and I believe that coconut flour is the way to go. So we're gonna experiment with each. We're gonna maybe do a half and half version. I've ordered xanthan gum to add to the quote unquote dough. Xanthan gum to hopefully give it like a more like sticky, like actual doughy consistency, so they'll hold their ring shape when they're dropped in the oil. There's also an ideological divide between baking and frying. I think that if it's not fried, a donut is not a donut. It's just a circular cake.
Indeed,
there is the possibility of a sugar-free jelly filling that might
Jelly
be striven
donuts are my
towards at some point.
favorite.
Mine too. There's a possibility of making a sugar-free variant of the Boston cream.
I'm very interested in this, Ben, because I'm back on keto. Started 2 days ago, and I'm invested in the narrative now.
Watch out, Tom, because there's a lot of keto delito going on these days, and you're putting yourself at risk.
I know. I'm staying on my toes.
There's a lot of kidney stones.
We're a persecuted people.
I'm staying on my ketoes as it is.
There
sure
you
I
go.
don't get deleted.
Oh, too bad I can't because I fucking broke mine.
Dude,
That's the first part of the deletion, dude. You got to be careful.
I flipped fucking out yesterday.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, and someone completely unrelated to our to like anything diet related mentioned being in ketosis. And I just I was in the kitchen, and I just flailed uncontrollably and like dropped everything that I was working on, and just had like a fucking seizure and writhed on the floor for like an hour afterward. So I was reminded of Ben.
You know,
saying.
that sounds like a problem. You know what I think would give you probably increased mental clarity and focus so that kind of thing wouldn't happen?
Please tell me more.
It's ketones, Munchie. It's always ketones. Tom, you should come over. You should get in here and make keto donuts with
Yeah,
me.
it sounds actually fucking cool.
You know what I'm gonna do for you? I'm gonna be in
get
Boston.
Get over here to Monkey House. Get over here to Monkey House.
I'm gonna be in Boston real soon. I'm gonna try and find a keto recipe. I want to exchange recipes, Ben. I want to exchange. I want to exchange recipes and dishes. I'm gonna figure out how to make a keto thing.
I've been making keto cakes. I'm gonna make keto cupcakes. I've been making keto pizzas. That's my new thing. It is a whole world. It's a whole world of weird experimentation that I was just going nuts with.
I think we should move to
it's really fun.
voicemails.
Yeah, I guess we're at the 2 hour
but
mark.
before we do, I want to say I got something arrived in mail today. I ordered like this little blanket to put over my shoulders because my shoulders always get cold. It can be like in the heat of the summer, but if I don't have something on my shoulders, I just feel uncomfortable. And it's like the cutest, softest thing, and I'm just so happy. And I'm just like, I shove my face in it because it's just so soft.
How nice.
And
Mage, it sounds like you need a cape, Mage. You need a cape.
It is like you need to put on a fucking shirt. Question
Or a cloak.
mark.
No,
Why are you?
I do wear a shirt.
I think you need big World of Warcraft shoulder pads.
That's the answer.
Good
right
idea.
there, for sure.
It just makes me so happy, and I love it so much. And I've been wearing it throughout the whole podcast, and I've been petting it because it's just so soft. It's so soft.
We got to put that in the show notes.
I initially heard I bought a little blind kid to put on my shoulders.
No, did you know?
Even Mage's servant can't see what she looks like. Had to be a blind kid.
No.
But can he see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No, he can't. He's blind.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
He can see it with his mind's eye.
Well, hey, team, it feels like a good place to transition to voicemails, if I do say so
let's do it.
myself. Munchie, do you have those
indeed
prepared?
It does. Of course I do. Speaking of cooking, there is a productive teen that would like to have a word with us on that issue. Just,
Teenagers.
to continue it. Let me go over to Techno. Here we go.
I'm looking at the charts for anal circumference.
Hey, what's up, PCP? I am the Productive Teen 17, and I'm here to tell you that I like that you talk about food sometimes. I like food.
Yeah.
I'm a culinary student, so that's pretty self-explanatory. Keep talking about food.
Lucky you.
Just did.
Done and done. Done and done.
I want to say someone in the comments last episode said something about the teen CP, but they didn't spell it TEENCP. They spelled it teensy.
What?
P, as in like teensy tiny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Teensy P is the son of Zoomer Joe, as we all know.
Shout out to
I
that guy. I'm going to
see.
finally pull the trigger just because of that voicemail on a vlog I've been meaning to do for a while called
Yeah.
How to Food. An instructional guide to millennials on how to food.
What's
I would
the
be very
general
interesting.
thesis here?
It sounds scary.
Just basically, if you want to eat food, here's how you should do it.
You open your mouth.
Do you
put
follow
the
this
food
advice,
in.
or is this aspirational?
No, it's advice I follow.
Okay, cool.
Well, give us the deets, dude.
I'm
don't
gonna
fuck
make a
with us.
video.
He's making a
Cock tease
vlog
us.
about it.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
no spoilers.
Oh God.
I hope my hope is that I vehemently disagree and I can make a response video calling you.
Oh,
out.
good
No,
idea.
Ben, you'll love it because I'm gonna start off by
Yeah.
ranting. Like I'm just gonna for no
By
particular
entering
reason,
ketosis live on camera.
for no reason other than to make it more clickbaity. I will start off by just shitting on HelloFresh.
Hey,
Yeah.
fair enough.
All right, well that's exciting. Nightmare. Capitalist nightmare.
God.
Anyway.
I still like get like seething mad, like opening my fridge, like thinking about food, just thinking like how is he so fucking stupid? How does he not see? How does he not understand? and as stated last time we had this debate, I don't even like HelloFresh. I don't even like it. It just makes me so mad that you don't like it vehemently.
Speaking of food delivery services, someone on Twitter added me in response to a picture of Asterios Kokonos with Nathan fucking what's-his-name from Garfield Eats.
What?
Apparently Asterios brought up Garfield Eats on a podcast as well. And he fucking met Nathan something. I don't remember his last name. But the guy with the tiny edited mouth.
God, our clout is pathetic. We really need to get it up there. We got to get the Garfield Eats guy on a PCP.
Imagine.
Whoa.
Imagine.
All right,
Guys,
Well,
it's
Nate, I'm sorry, Ben. I just want to say that you're a nightmare, and I hate you. And I think that this person living under your brutal political regime will agree with me. This is Kill Ben.
Pain, misery, and more pain. It's the year 2021 and the Ben Saint Imperial Calendar, month 3, day 13. After his kidney stone yielded many clones, they proceeded to rape and pillage our lands. Governments fell apart. The world collapsed. World order is in chaos. We all live in shacks. Me and my neighbors, everyone lives in shacks. He sends his clones out twice a week to piss test everyone. If he finds someone not on keto, he takes a finger, but he's really into that intergagement life, so he tells you a knock-knock joke while he's taking your fingers. Oh, but it's the same fucking knock-knock joke every single time. He doesn't get any new material. I was out looking for food scrounging the lands yesterday. I came across a water fountain. I think to myself, water's keto-friendly. I get some fresh water. No, more Monster Zero. More fucking Monster Zero. He's on his phone drinking Bang Energy, and we just get Monster Zero. Nate, you should be the most worried. After everything collapses, he takes your enterprises, becomes best guy ever, locks you in a cell, and you only get carbs. And he laughs every time. He loves it.
No, eat my
PCP.
protein.
Destroy his kidney stones. Kill Ben Saint. Save the future.
Will do! And with that, I would like you to direct you to the link in the description to a free text message where you can play entirely with your script power and enlist fucking Rowdy. Kill that piece of shit, Ben Saint, in real life. I am ordering a direct attack. Rowdy's no more video games. Get a real gun in real life and shoot him in Boston, Massachusetts. I beg you, please don't let this happen to you. Do not let him take over the world. Get fucking Rowdy.
Hey Munchie. So I'm not sure. I could save this for RFCK on Wednesday.
If you can, you definitely should.
Okay, well,
you can give me a teaser, but don't spoil or anything.
I sampled some new energy drink flavors.
Ooh, yeah, that's RFCK. Okay, yeah. All right, no more.
Hey,
specifically, okay, I have much to tell.
Before we start the next,
I do too, actually. I do too.
Oh my god.
I'm just thinking about how there's those people who are like the psychotic fans who think that that they're being sent messages to like kill the president in media. And like if Munchie had one of those fans, that it would not be secret messages. They would just be like, "Oh, kill Ben Saint? Okay."
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Guys,
They wouldn't need
Munchie,
to imagine.
before you go on, I've got a
Yeah?
fascinating thing that just happened to me. And it's just that on Twitter, someone sent me a message of the kind that I've long dreaded, and I finally just got one. This is a message from someone who's essentially saying that they are disappointed with my newest video about the One Piece manga. In effect, it's about manga, but I talk about One Piece, of course. He's disappointed because I'm so adamant about reading manga solely through scanlations, and if I really loved manga as much as I say I do, I should support the industry and should give
that
Viz
guy.
Media their $2 to
One
read it
Piece-
monthly or whatever.
One Piece is like a super mega corporation. It's like it doesn't need any more money.
I mean,
Like
I
Oda is
Shonen- I
rich
think
beyond
Shonen
his
Jump will be
fucking
fine.
wildest imagination, and he's the only person
Well,
in
probably.
the machine of One Piece who you should give any fuck about. So at this point, it's like Oda's spoken for. Anything else you're spending on it is just going into the machine. Why
I mean,
would
there's
you
something
spend
to be
money
said
on it?
for. I support the peons who help, bring the manga to me weekly in the magazines and
I
whatnot.
suppose.
But like, so that's all cool, and I'm support the industry. I don't know, like obviously I'm in favor of it existing, but like, I don't think this man's understanding the context of me having read this series. When I first started reading One Piece, what was I supposed to read the non-existent English releases? And now look, okay, maybe I'm behind the fucking times and I should catch my moral compass up to the real world. But I've made basically my entire One Piece career
you're
has
ahead
been
of the
in
times.
scanlations. I'm ass deep in the scanlation world, and I'll just say I frankly just don't care that much. I mean, that's totally true. If I can save a buck by doing something for free, I will absolutely do it. I don't even fault you, dude. I think your position is totally fine. It's just that I just don't care. That's my position.
Yep.
All right. I mean, that's it. I just thought that was interesting. I've
Well-
been expecting something like that for a long time, or perhaps my rampant video game piracy, or I don't know, I stole Sony Vegas to make videos with, all these things.
What
Nate, I understand
what you're
that.
witnessing?
Boy, isn't it nice? Isn't it nice that content on the internet is like freely distributed and not bound up in the hands of like big corporations and the people that have all the money? Like, isn't it nice that these things are just available to the public to be used freely?
Well,
like, for the
I
betterment of
recognize
mankind?
I am doing something wrong. I simply accept my immorality. That's how I feel about it.
I don't think it's necessarily wrong. Nate, I understand that you enjoyed the first episode of my Whirling Dervish podcast.
I did. Oh, I was talking about it before. I very much enjoyed, especially my favorite part was your, just talking about how like people who do YouTube and then are overly critical of it as if they
Yeah, I
have
know
no
what you mean.
control over being involved with it.
Yeah.
I was, just kind of agreeing with that.
You'll enjoy the second episode because I go on a long tirade about how physical media needs to die and like how
good.
supporting like I don't want to support an industry that gives me anything less than the best possible experience because it's like I'm always going to choose the best experience. If downloading torrents is the best experience, why would I pay for something worse when they have the option to offer me something better, which is what, it's the classic Gabe Newell piracy is what was the service problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And to that point on this Viz Media thing, or by paying for One Piece or whatever, when it is literally infinitely easier for me to just Google read One Piece online, bam, there's Manga Reader. Like great, I don't have to like sign in or give money to someone. I'd argue again, this is a service problem. I know Gabe's kind of shifted on that over the years, I guess, but
imagine if you typed into Google read One Piece online. The first result was Viz. You clicked on it and you read it right there, and at the bottom of the page there was just a fucking tip jar, and it's like it just says like click this button if you loved this chapter to donate $1 to it, and then you just like people would just do it because they're like, oh, this chapter was great, click.
Now considering my own would I ever click that? The answer is no. I will never click that button to give money that I don't have to. But other people will.
I would be surprised
Better people than
if
me.
you never had a moment where you read a chapter and you were just so excited and the button was right fucking there that you would just click.
I mean, maybe. If I knew it was like going to Oda or like the editor or whoever, the people actually making the
product. You guys are
product.
witnessing the fall of Titans right now. Ben Saint obliterated, literally killed, hopefully.
Yeah.
Nate, his moral compass shattered. Completely obliterated. And now the third in this building trilogy, Tommy Oliver.
This next tape has only one track. I'm gonna ride it all the way to the Poly Station. It's been too long, hasn't it, Tom?
Percy? Percy?
Yes?
Have you seen Thomas? He's late with his shipment.
Oh, no, Your Grace. In fact, I heard he drove off a cliff.
Whoa. Suicide, eh? The Fat Controller scratched his tubby belly. I suppose it was only a matter of time. You'll have to work double shift to make up for his absence.
You see about that, sir,
What is it, Percy? What's the matter? The Fat Controller leaned in, and Percy whispered,
Well, I suppose I'm a cunt.
The station's empty. I thought you would be here, Tom. I long for the touch of your feminine fingernails on my back. I guess there is no manicure for depression.
Wow.
Okay.
That was a journey.
Holy
my
shit.
God.
What the fuck was that?
I just went on a journey.
It's the fourth lost tape. This is the fourth lost tape.
Incredible.
Centered around Tom, obviously. Would you like
Legendary.
to explain what has happened here, Tom? Because obviously you would know better than anyone.
I
Would he?
I
It's
don't
his
even
past.
know. I just went on a journey there. I
Well,
guess.
I mean, we're hearing these voices from your past, I assume, where you a train conductor of some sort. Did you have to associate with Blue in some way?
back in the day,
I think he was a train.
back in the day, I was all about that Shining Time station. Maybe I'm just an astral projection of Thomas the Tank Engine all this time.
Yeah, probably.
I legitimately couldn't tell if that was a clip from an old show at first.
I mean, parts of it
So
were.
well
I
produced
think.
and acted.
No, I don't think it was, dude. I think it was.
No,
all
I
new.
think
The
that was
acting
just.
on Percy's accent, and I mean the Fat Controller, incredible, incredible.
They're good.
There's a new storyteller video after this episode goes up. It's just a face reveal. It's Tom this entire time.
Oh, are you
Storyteller.
saying that was supposed to be a video by the new storyteller? Is that what was going on there?
Well, no, that
Well,
was a.
well,
hidden-
I mean, we all for all intents and purposes, it could be. We
Okay.
don't know. I mean,
the
these are
lost tape
tapes.
archive. He finds ancient secret tapes recorded by us exposing our histories.
Okay.
And in this one, in this
So,
ancient
I mean,
tome,
if Tom is indeed the new storyteller, it will be revealed. All secrets will be revealed.
Was
Would
this
make sense.
because we did the whole Thomas the Tank Engine joke last week?
I don't fucking know, dude. Maybe.
I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. Oh, wait, yes, I do. It was nothing.
That's
well,
the best.
if there's one thing we've learned, it's that Percy is a cunt. And
He
All
was
right,
always
what
a
else we
cunt.
got?
Even back
No.
when I was like 5, I knew that.
by
Fair.
the way, I just want to say, Lost Archives, this and all the other ones have been absolutely fucking primal. I think we have a contender for the voicemail grail.
Oh.
Yeah, I
voice,
think we gotta
voice
add
grill
it.
for
Yes.
sure.
Now,
Yeah.
you know, I forgot to add
Oh,
someone
peop-
last week, I think.
People in the comments were making suggestions about who should be on the Hall of Fame, and like I agreed with like every single one.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I
You know what?
think
I
we
got it
shouldn't
open
get
right
too much in
now.
the business of retroactive ones, but maybe
Well,
they might.
let's-
We should
let's
we
see
should
if
have
we got-
something.
Let's see if we have any more contenders, shall we?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I agree, and I think we might right here with a humble lad by the name of John. Let's see what John has to say, or rather, sing.
1, 2. This one's a question for the whole damn PCP. That is, I want to know your favorite song. But that's too easy, so we'll turn it up a notch. Find the truth of the good and something wrong. Sometimes great music can exist in media you'd otherwise resist. Where have you seen put to waste good music that's locked in a cage? The source, of course, it blinds you with rage.
I've heard this before.
This is Adrenaline by Trysail. It's a kick-ass song. It ends the Arrow manga sensei anime.
That's the
Subjectively, I
one.
say this show is not okay, but this song is so good it takes the pain away.
Of course.
The washer spins, you hear the bass. Giddy does her dance. Her brother doesn't get to wash her underpants. It puts me in a trance. The brainwashing sets in. I drink my gin. New episodes begin. So what's your favorite song you know that comes from a bad movie, game, or show?
Oh, John.
That was great.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was better.
Hell
What
yeah,
was that?
dude.
Even
Hell
better
yeah.
than I want that set to the actual ED, so I could watch Sagiri dance her sexy little lolly ass to that song.
What was the? I'm not familiar
By
with
the
the
way,
original.
before we even get to the question, I just want to say the dichotomy, because I picked out the show notes because Nate was doing the math of the things,
Yeah.
and I did the voicemails for this, and the dichotomy. There was an entry to the voicemails of a dude saying, if anyone else other than Nate picks the voicemails this episode, this won't get in, but smoke weed, dude, and that literally would have gotten in if it
would have
weren't for
gotten
me.
in, dude. It would have gotten in. You see, blame Munchie that you weren't.
Yeah, so
Getting
you're
your spotlight.
fuck you. I'm not even gonna name you, so die.
Fair.
Just fucking die.
So just
anyway,
FYI,
songs-
John in parentheses Ore Emo, and I guess I'll put Arrow Manga, already got in last episode into the PCP Grail.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
so he's a legend. He's a legend already.
Wait, what is the name of the Hall of Fame?
We call it the
Voice
PCP
Grail.
Voicemail
Grail.
Grail,
Voice
is what we're
Grail,
calling
yeah.
it.
It's
'Cause
just the
it's
voice
the Grail
Grail.
/ jail, and you're in jail.
It's the
if you
voice
shit.
grail versus the voice jail.
The only man in jail right now is the Japanese man Yuta, and he'll never get out.
I'm going back. I'm trying to find where people made
So
recommendations.
are we gonna answer that guy's question?
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, if we're sticking with like anime EDs, if that's something that could count,
Sure.
the OP to the show Denpa Onato Seishun Otoko, or Electric. Wait, I don't even remember what the fuck that translates to.
Densha means train, I think. I don't know.
It's no Denpa.
Oh,
Denpa
okay,
Ona
never
and
mind.
Seishun Otoko. It's the opening theme is by a band called Shinsei Kamate-chan. It introduced them to me, and they became my favorite band. I dropped the show after the first episode, but I've come back to that
Hey, all
OP
right.
countless times.
Well, that's cool.
There's a difference between a song from media that you hate or media that you haven't seen. And while I can't really think of any songs from media that I hate, I can definitely think of songs that I love from things I've never played, which I think is arguably way more embarrassing. Where you start
Maybe.
humming a song and then someone's like, oh, you like Cave Story? I'm like, no, I just got recommended the theme song
Ooh,
on
Egg
YouTube,
Passage.
and I really
That's
like
Instantly
it.
in my head.
Oh, yeah.
So fucking good. So there's a lot of instances where I shamefully listen to music of things I've never seen. Like, again, Cave Story. I listen to the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack a lot.
Well, that's
Just-
based.
I know. It's all
the
good,
Cowboy
but
Bebop
couldn't tell you a
soundtrack
single
shows
thing.
up on like recommended lists of just good jazz albums. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any shame in listening to that.
Even though fucking Kano learned how to make jazz for that album. Incredible.
But I literally don't even know what Cowboy Bebop does, or if it's like a Doctor Who scenario.
Who
where
is this
there
man?
no Cowboy Bebop.
What are
Who
his
is Cowboy
credentials?
Bebop?
Where is he? Get him out
Does
here.
he even bebop? All right. So
I don't know.
anyone
I
else?
mean, here's just an easy example. I mean, I love a lot of the music in MLP, but I also love MLP. So, I mean, it's not embarrassing at all, but a lot of people might think it is. So there you go. There's my answer.
That's a flaccid shit. That's
Yeah.
flaccid shit.
I really have to rack my brain to find a show I dislike, but I also like the music of. So I can't really answer it completely, but one song that comes to my head is of a show I haven't watched, but I didn't hear good things about it. But I kind of like the opening, but I think I like the opening music in addition to the visuals. So if I haven't seen the visuals, I probably wouldn't like the song as much, but I still like the song.
Sure.
Is of Mariaholic. I think that's
Yeah, Maria
the
X
Maria
Holic or
Holic
whatever.
OP. That would be my same studio
That's a banger.
as Denpa Ona, the one I brought up. And yeah, I mean, all their OPs are fucking amazing. Every Shaft
Yeah,
OP
Shaft kills it
godly.
with those.
So whether the show itself is good, I did
Oh,
not
you know,
care for
I could
Maria
say-
Holic. I also dropped that one.
On the Shaft subject, like, yeah, like did you say like all their openings are great? Like everything for God damn it, Zetsubo Sensei.
Oh.
Like I've only finished season 1 and like maybe a little bit of season 2, but I've listened to every OP and they're all incredible.
I
They're
love
so
Zetsubo
good.
Sensei.
Nate, have you listened to the Otsuki Kenji and Zetsubo Shoujo Tachi album?
No, I definitely have
so
not.
the guy who sings in all the OPs is a guy named Otsuki Kenji. He's a frontman of a band called Kiniku Shoujo Tai, or the like bodybuilding women's club or something like that. And they did a whole album of songs in the style of the OPs. It has the OPs on there, and then like just a bunch of other tracks of him and all the girls singing, and it's a good time.
It sounds incredible. I mean, the best thing about it for me is that you watch the show, you get used to the voice actors and whatnot who are, they're in the fucking show, all the girls and the main guy and whatnot, and they just sing in the fucking opening and ending, and it's like the best thing ever. It's so fucking sick. And then you go listen to the full songs, it's like even better. They're so good. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I should definitely check that out.
Tom,
sure.
Benny Boy.
Yep.
Any answer? Any?
I guess.
Oh no, I can't think of anything. I'm sorry. Ignore
the
me.
only thing I can think of right now is the only thing I can really think of is I wasn't a huge fan of the game Crypt of the Necrodancer. I couldn't get into the game, but the soundtrack is fucking sick.
Game. Okay, well I'll agree with that. Except that's a great game.
I just.
Yeah, punk.
It's funny you say that.
I haven't played a lot of it. My buddy. We did co-op, and I couldn't really get into it.
I
maybe
hate
because
these
I was just
SJW games with female protagonists. Like, what the fuck, guys? Just shut it down now.
Who are you, Sargon of a god?
It's really funny that like the music is what stuck out to you, because to me the appeal of that game was that I could dance to my own music.
You know, that's cool, but I've tried it, and it can
you have
be
to
weird.
find the right
like
songs.
Sometimes
you
need to find the right song, but the game has such a good soundtrack on its own that I have like no real desire to replace
it's not
the
really
music.
my genre, I guess. I put in music by the band Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is like heavy metal dance music basically, and that made it like it was just so funny to play along to that it made it worth it.
On a stream, twitch.tv/Saint Comics, I put in some Hilary Duff Nightcore as the sound backing sound. It didn't work very well at all. Actually, no. The thing is, it was just so fast.
Yeah,
it was like this insanely fast beat. And,
you really got to know the beat. You know what would probably help a lot is there's a website called Songkick that tells you the BPM of any song.
Oh,
so
good. Yeah. That's what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha. We have fun here at the PCP. But you know what else is fun? Having sex with animals. But there may be some animals you aren't really sure about how to have sex with. Well, luckily, we have an audience member teaching us how to have sex with hyenas.
So, about hyenas. Hyenas are my jam, so I know a lot about the hyena penis situation.
Furry.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's called a pseudopenis, despite actually being a clitoris. But you'd be surprised to know that it functions more like a penis than like a clitoris.
I am surprised.
Hyenas actually...
I'm aroused.
Clitoris doesn't
their
really
sex
function.
is like docking. Like the male
Cut
has
that
to
shit
put
off.
his penis inside
like
the female
docking.
pseudopenis, which has a canal.
What? What?
For
what?
This sort of like the vagina like is in the clitoris. It's very strange.
Okay, sure.
It's
what the fuck?
When people say, "Oh, it's a pseudopenis," but it's actually a clit. It's like it's really just a dick. Like I don't know what else to tell you, but like, which is why hyena society is so female dominated. It's because the males can't assert their dominance on the females via sex. Like if the females aren't into it, like the males aren't going to snake their dick into the lady's dick. It's just not going to happen. But yeah, actually, they also give birth out of their pseudopenis, and that's just a gory mess. You can look up videos if you want.
That would be the
yikes.
That's what I have to say. Hyenas are pretty neat. Just don't touch their penises. Okay, bye.
Boy, we really fucked up when we opened this rabbit hole.
I'm
when we
delighted.
opened up this mystery box.
I'm about to do it.
No,
He's gonna
no,
coom.
Munchie, I don't understand.
Sorry, I was just clapping really fast.
Yeah, because I was
in triumph,
so
in sheer triumph.
Also, I came unrelated.
Well, hyenas are sick. I feel bad. I guess I feel bad for the women.
Hyenas are sick.
I feel bad for the
They're
men
totally
and
sick,
the women.
dude.
Like the men are, whatever. They can't get their shit going because they're smaller and they got small dick. They got to insert in female dick, and the women like have to birth out of their fucking female dick. That sounds horrible.
Birth out of their dick, dude.
It's made
Holy
for it.
shit,
It's
dude.
I guess.
Okay,
They love
guys,
it.
all right.
Hyenas. Nature's M-preg.
Ratcon 4. First stretch goal, docking. Second stretch goal, live birth.
Stretch goal 5, M-preg.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera.
But by the way, guys,
We can combine all these.
Thank you,
There's
Yin Girl.
there's synergy here.
Speaking of Yin Girl, I just want to say you've heard of Yin. You've heard of Snep. Get ready for the third furry term in this trilogy. And this is an open letter to every furry.
What is Ying?
I don't know what
Snep is snow leopard.
Okay.
It's really funny because that girl's voice sounded like Kaze, and it made
I
me
thought it might have
assume
been her.
that
Did
was
it?
a
Did it
furry.
really?
I
a
think
little
it
bit.
might just be that furry. Like, is furry kind of like being gay,
They're
where
cut
they
from the
have
same
like
cloth.
a voice? You know what I mean?
I've got big furry voice, kind of like tranny voice, you know, furry voice, muffled by fur.
We will let the audience
cloth.
decide in the comments. Comment, is furry a choice, like being gay?
Okay.
But
I didn't
also
say a
that,
choice. I said a voice.
is it a choice, like being black?
Both are open.
Okay, so post in comments any more of these abbreviation for animals like Snep or Yin, and we have yoked for coyotes. Yoked. Oh, dude. Using a sentence. Wanna fuck that yoked real bad. Maybe I'll fuck some yeens later and maybe a snap. But first, I'm gonna deal with this yoked. And
Wow.
anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
That's good.
Now I know.
I love these terms so much. Please, I fucking beg you more. I'm sure there's just a gold mine of them that we aren't.
You know how when you're speed running Pokemon Red or Blue, you choose like one character because the sheer number of times that your character's name is said in text box. Imagine the sheer number of frames you're saving by only referring because we know how many times per day you're going to talk about a coyote and how much you want to fuck it. You're shaving so many frames by abbreviating that shit to yo.
2 syllables
so
every
many.
single time.
That's right.
Hey, if you're a coyote furry and you're like a bear, right? And but not like a bear, like a muscle man.
Okay.
You're getting fucking jacked. You're fucking getting.
Barra.
Are you a yoked yote?
A yoked yote for show.
A
Yoked yote.
Oh,
My new Twitter handle.
Oh.
Well, move on. Let's go.
Guys,
what else?
There's gonna be
I know.
hours.
I need a fucking cold shower after
hours
this.
of content coming from this. Okay, all right. Now, speaking of D&D, we were talking about earlier, there's someone who would like to play a game with us as well, but not a role-playing game, rather a board game. This is the Game Board Gaylord.
Game board Gaylord.
Attention, PCP. This is the Game Board Gaylord speaking.
Wow.
I challenge you to beat me in a board game. Let's play Battleship on a 5x5 grid. We will be using 1 4-tall ship, 1 3-tall ship, and 2 2-tall ships. Please place your ships now, and I'll begin my turn. A4.
You sunk my battleship.
Will you hit me?
Oh.
Who knows? This has been the Game Board Gaylord. Good luck, and remember, I won't fucking cheat. I swear, please trust me for the love of God and everything holy.
Well,
Okay, so we are in a dicey scenario right now. We are on a 5x5 grid right now. He's attacked what was it? AF?
A4, I think.
A4.
A4.
All right, AF. And he is, let's see, guys, did he sink our battleship? Let's see.
Well, it
Look,
takes
the-
4
well, you
hits
don't
to
sink
sink
The
a
game,
fucking battle.
the
Let's
Game
see.
Board
Yeah, you
Gaylord
gotta hit
is a
5.
fool because he told us where he was going to attack
Yeah, and
before
we
we
didn't have
even
a
had
chance
time
to
to place our
choose.
ships. Now I can dodge it perfectly.
Okay, so how much? Okay, we have a 3-tile ship, a 4-tile ship, and a 2-tile
two
ship?
tiles, I think.
Are you
Pretty sure.
We're
So 2
attacking
2s, a 3 and a 4?
C6.
There you go.
Damn!
But
Wait,
if
no, it's a 5x5. 6
yeah.
is off the grid, goddammit.
Yeah.
C5.
C5. Wait, how can you
Yeah,
fit
okay.
that many fucking boats on a 5x5 grid?
I think you can.
You can. The biggest one's 4, so it
Won't
does
we
fit.
just be
It's a
hitting
little-
constantly?
It's a little tight.
Is this just a race to see who can sink? Like, who makes the mistake of missing once
I mean,
and therefore
that's
losing?
Battleship for you, I guess.
That's a great game.
Well, good luck with that.
Hell yeah. I've never played
Should I-
Battleship before, but let's assure that we will kill you and all of your boats.
You don't need to play the game, just watch the movie.
Yeah, he's right. He's
is
right.
there
You
a
get the full
movie for
experience.
There is a
Battleship?
Battleship movie.
With
Yes,
Rihanna,
there
I
is.
think.
Fuck.
was
Rihanna
a
stars
theatrical
as
release.
the
Battleship
Battleship.
ripoff, right? It was like a
Yeah.
like a Michael Bay
like
style
a-
movie.
Yeah, it was a Michael Bay style theatrical release starring Rihanna.
Hell yeah. As the titular battleship.
That's crazy. Well, guys, we seem to have reached in here. Wait, what?
Could there be?
I think there's something
no.
that needs to be concluded. An arc that needs to be satisfied.
What could it be?
Something that's been building up for months at this point, for weeks. And that's the end of the Riddle My Ass Batman arc.
Oh no,
There
okay.
are
I'm ready.
3 voicemails. I've not listened to any of them, so we're going to experience them together.
Okay.
Here we go, boys.
Well, you all been waiting for it.
If you want it dumb, I've got what you need, because the next voicemail is from Riddle My Ass, Batman.
Man who vapes, Ben Saints.
Yeah!
Minions.
Do them all, do them
Why
all,
does
do
it
them
sound
all.
like he recorded this through the speaker?
I'm sure he did.
I'm gonna have Batman more.
BGE, also stands for Best Guy
Woo!
Yay.
Yay!
Why are we getting a
Saved.
recap episode?
You gotta have the clip episode before the finale.
I've never heard about it. I'm still...
He really should have worked on his recording.
God, make it stop. Just skip to the end.
No, I like this. You gotta have a build up.
Batman Hall of Fame. First member, Riddle My Ass Batman. Yeah, welcome.
Woo!
And if you're first, so welcome you to the Boo Collective.
Oh, Batman! Oh, Batman!
Is a she. Yes, Batman. That's a she.
Oh, I remember when he saved Mage.
Oh, that was
I
good.
can't even tell what the fuck he's
finest
saying.
hour.
It's so goddamn shitty recording.
That Batman. I've been here the whole time in the furnace.
Oh, I got it. Remember when Colt Corona was in the first one?
Oh, yeah.
That's all I need to do. This is
Painless.
People, I just want you to know that when a dating sim comes out, I'm choosing you as my lover. It don't work.
Yay, I remember
He's
that.
ever fucking had.
I think so.
Conclusion of Real My Ass Batman.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
All right. Well, that was the entirety of it. Okay. Here we are.
The
final
end.
battle.
End of an era.
The final battle. Are you guys ready? Because frankly, I'm not. I feel like underprepared.
Only
I feel like I'm going to
Digi.
battle.
Only Digi remains to be saved, I think.
Well, let's see if he will be.
And Batman left.
So, members of PCP, are you ready for a final riddle? Question first. Yes. Since there's only one member left, can we just say it's Digi and go away pretty easily? Wait, guys, don't do that. Huh? Hear me out. You guys know my lifelong dream is to become a lolly. Well, this is my chance. My ass is so fat that I already have tits, and I gotta do this and get rid of my dick and balls now. This is a perfect opportunity. Please, let me be a lolly. Are you
Oh, I
sure,
guess they
Digi?
do eat the balls.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, Deji. Riddler, our answer is, the riddle you have not yet questioned is, dun dun dun, Jeff. Wrong.
Yeah.
Minions.
Oh.
Put him in the testicular tenderizing tuna now. Thank you guys so much. And this is, oh my God, the pain. The pain is so unbearable. Oh my God, the pain. Oh no. Oh no. Not the pain. Oh my God, the pain. This is a mistake.
Not the pain.
Why did I do
Not the
this?
pain.
Oh my God, the pain. The pain is unbearable. Oh my God. No.
I'm sensing
They're
some
eating my
pain
balls
here.
and dick. Help. Help.
This is indulgent.
Let me do this. Guys, help. Help. Anyone help. Oh my God, their balls and dick.
Oh, shit.
This is gratuitous.
Damn.
Okay.
What in
That was
Next
fucking
one, next
savage.
one.
All right. Well, I hate to say it, Digi, but I guess you don't got a dick anymore.
was
or
that
or
me?
balls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
you.
was
That was
you.
you.
That was you.
I feel like I just listened to someone's manic episode. I have no fucking
Well,
idea
that's
what's
fair.
going on.
You know,
That's what it sounds
Digi,
like listening
Digi
to
doesn't
you.
even know what's happening. Okay, you were
You
over
got-
a pit of dick-eating piranhas, dick and ball-eating piranhas, and you told Batman to not save you by
No,
solving
Batman
riddle
left.
my ass
It's just the
Batman's
PCP.
riddles.
Batman
and therefore you were
piece.
dropped into the pit. It burns.
Right. To become a lolly.
Yeah, duh. Okay, so here we go.
So is there
There's
more?
one final thing, right?
There's one more.
I just want to say, this is Real My Ass Batman. Thank you, PCP, for playing my shitty show every week, week after week. You and the audience at home seem to have really loved this show, and I appreciate all your
did.
support. A quick apology to Mage and Digi for dropping you in the dick-eating worms. I had to switch it up every once in a while, you know? Keep them guessing. I keep them on their toes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't worry, Real My Ass Batman isn't canceled yet. I am just getting started. Look forward to new content such as Silly Songs with Batman, Who Wants to Be a PCP Millionaire, and reading from Riddle My Ass Batman's fanfiction. Look forward to all these next time on the PCP. Same PCP time, same PCP channel.
Yay!
Oh my
The
god!
legend.
When are we gonna get
The legend walks off into
when do
the
we get
sunset.
Family Feud in Batman's ass?
Oh, soon, I
Feud in
hope.
Batman's ass, hell yeah!
So I want to remind everyone that Riddle My Ass Batman has a work of fiction on Wattpad called PCP: The Ultimate Fanfic: The Quest for Colt Corona by Riddle My Ass Batman. I'm going to read a passage from the first chapter called PCP Guy Origins. 1.11111111111111111111111111111111111111 billion years ago, in a galaxy beyond the outermost reaches of the cosmos.
So 1 year ago.
No, 1 billion. 1 point, all those ones billion. So
Wait,
over
but
a billion.
1.1. Oh, Bill. Sorry. Okay, go. Yeah.
Yeah, more than one. There resided a planet called Jumbalia. This planet consisted almost entirely of what you and I would call normies. Ree! I hear you scream in your most annoying of high-pitched, glass-shattering, screechy whines. Fear not, for there were just enough freaks and weirdos to make all the anime and comics. You know, actual cool stuff that your heart could ever desire.
Earth?
On this planet there lived, in an old rundown apartment, one man who swore he would not succumb to the live of a normie and sought to make his living as an artist. He had tried many disciplines, drawing comics, playing music, mostly raps, and even writing his world's equivalent of My Little Pony fanfiction.
Ooh, who could this be?
Always putting his OC in the middle of a love triangle of whatever characters he happened to be feeling a fancy for the week. However, his favorite thing to do was to make analytical YouTube videos about his favorite anime. Well, it is actually rendered to a looser tube on this planet. Okay, they were a bit more self-aware. Our beloved original hamboy, PCP Guy, also known by the name Crast, short for Pro Crast, to his internet friends. He had no real life to speak of. So that's your teaser. That's your teaser.
I want to know.
Oh, link in the description.
The stage has been set. I hope that's just enough to wet your whistle.
I'm intrigued. I want to know more about this
yeah.
cast of characters. Well, there's only one, but you know.
This cast
I
of
have a
character.
question. Is there like somewhere where you would listen to like Real My Ass Batman's all of the story like in a chronological order?
I mean, they're all on
the episodes, or they're in the SoundCloud.
Though the things are getting deleted from the SoundCloud, so you know, they're little by little they're reeroded, but they're all in the episodes.
Archive people, it's up to you. It's up to you to save Flash Player.
Maybe. Wait, I mean, are they all still in the SpeakPipe?
I suppose that's true. I haven't deleted any from SpeakPipe.
Maybe I'll just go in and make a compilation. You know, I've been working on that editor showcase.
Right. How's that going?
It wouldn't be the same to just listen to
there.
Like, surely if you wanted a compilation, you would want to clip it from the episodes so that you get the reaction as well.
That's probably true, honestly.
That
probably
is
be
probably
better that
true,
way,
yeah.
significantly so. Yeah.
I think so. I think it adds something.
Well, fair enough.
Commenters, let us know in the comments if you want that,
or just do it for us.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, or yeah, that's true.
In fact,
Guys,
please
we've come
do.
to the end of Riddle My Ass Batman, and we've come to the end of this week's PCP. How do we all feel? How do we all feel about how we did it this
Hungry.
week?
It was long.
Review.
But solid.
They're always this long now, Nate. This is just how they are.
That's true. You're not wrong.
Yeah, they've gotten longer.
Almost 3 hours.
I'm also hungry. I'm hungry. Maybe I can go. Maybe before my stream at twitch.tv/SaintComics, I can go and maybe I can. There's probably not enough time to do keto donuts.
Perhaps not.
Next time you hear from me, boys, I will be in Boston, Massachusetts. Possibly, have met with Ben. And Tom, if he's
have a safe journey.
Yeah, we'll have to hang out again.
Yes. Last time was a bust. Now there will be a bust of a nut. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
What were you saying, Mage?
Don't step any toes on your way there.
Don't worry, I don't walk extremely angrily and also am stupid.
Ben with his legs flailing wildly in all directions as he walks.
Like kicking the air each time he lifts his legs, like as hard as we can, like he's gonna punt like a
just
football.
Begging for it. Just begging for it.
Get on our Patreon bonus episodes.
Yeah, patreon.com/The Procrastinators, people. $5 for 25 full bonus episodes, and another one coming before too long. So keep your eyes fucking peeled.
The last one, I'm really happy with the last one. I thought it was really funny and good, and we learned a lot of dark truths.
We did.
I realized that I just initiated the closeout of this podcast, but I have to also ask: did anybody on this podcast ever address that I did in fact find and talk about the Pizza Party podcast?
I'm sorry, what?
Was this addressed on PCP?
I don't.
No.
That can't be
I went
true.
on Who Are These Podcasts and did a whole podcast about the Pizza Party podcast.
What the fuck?
Well, frankly, I think you're talking out of your ass. How could this be?
How did you find out about that?
It was not easy. I had to go into the heart of Tibet.
Found them.
I had to climb a mountain. I had to find Shambhala. I had to play Uncharted 2.
This has opened up a whole new avenue of exploration.
We have to dive into
I feel like the mystery has only deepened.
Oh my god, guys, we were so concerned. We were so concerned if we could find the podcast. We didn't find out if we should or not.
In the comments, someone was concerned.
The answer is we definitely shouldn't have. It was a huge mistake.
Mage, what were you saying?
Yeah, someone was concerned if the Pizza Party podcast got debuted. That's why he's not here.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
No, we can't let this happen.
Another lost soul.
All right, well, I guess that's it.
Fucking, I don't know, shirts or something. I don't even know what we do. There's a Patreon. I know that exists.
Yeah, but patreon.com, The Procrastinators, people. We love the money. Please give us. And bonus episodes, those are the main drive. 25 fucking episodes, that's so many. Jesus Christ. All right, what else? At TP Crastinators on Twitter, updates, releases, etc., general upkeep.
Hey,
there you go.
Hey, you know what? Okay. New plug thing for me specifically. All right. I like comments, not as in I want you to comment for like the algorithm. I don't even know if that works. I don't even know if that's the thing.
Probably
that if you
is.
get more
I don't
comments,
know.
it's better for you.
Mm-hmm.
Probably is. I just like reading them. So no, just make your comments not shit, and also do more of them because I like to hear from you.
I try. I think it's a weird feedback loop where I think that the PCP comments are terrible because they think we don't read them. But the reason we don't read them is because they're terrible. So, you just assume we're reading them and make them better, and then
I think they've gotten better.
I haven't looked in a little while, so maybe
for me, I never really read the PCP comments too much, but it's just that for now, like I consider my job is done once I've released the episode for the month or like it's scheduled ahead of time or whatever. Which I care about what people think and I want to fix things if they're bad.
Make no mistake, this isn't for intergagement. It just makes me cool. It just makes me feel good that I have made an impact, good, positive or negative.
I don't even know if the comments are good or bad, so I'm neutral. But I guess be good if you want.
Anything I release, I check comments for at least a day afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And with the PCP, it feels like comments from people who are assuming that no one's reading them.
Okay. Well, be advised, people. We're reading.
We've been saying I do read the comments most weeks.
I do as well. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Be good, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't think they're that bad, honestly. I think they've improved a lot.
Well,
there's probably a couple people out there listening who thinks I always comment nice. Okay, yeah, but it's not everybody.
Okay.
Have a good night,
Bye.
people.
Okay.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I'm supposed to be working right now. I'm supposed to be working right now. But I'm not working. I'm doing nothing. My dick I'm jerking. Myself I'm so